to change policy so that he could benefit Starlink as it tries to enter the local market. Babalondenze has the story.
The involvement of Resolve Communications in facilitating engagements between members of the government and private sector clients like Starlink has now reached Parliament. In her letter to Solimalatsi, Kusela Diko notes that the allegations, which remain untested, are of a serious nature. She says they raise questions regarding the propriety of engagements between public office bearers and private interests in matters that may relate to policy development and executive decision-making.
We're not ruling out wanting to look into an inquiry on this Resolve Communications, because Minister Malatsi is not the only minister that is said to have received this undue influence from Mr. Tony Leon and his company.
Diko said at face value, the allegations invoke a concerning history where private interests sought to direct government policy and executive decisions during the state capture era. While Malatsi has not yet responded to the letter, Leon issued a statement that his company does not and cannot direct the decisions of ministers. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
A plea bargain between alleged crime kingpin Vusmuzikat Matlala and the NPA could collapse if prosecutors and his legal team fail to accept the court's proposed 12-year prison term. The Commercial Crimes Court did not endorse the 8 years that was agreed by Matlala and the NPA, saying it's too lenient and unjust. Instead, it yesterday proposed a 12-year prison sentence. The court found that Matlala initiated the collusion that occurred on the process of acquiring a police tender for his company Medicare 24 Tshwane. The NPA says if the deal collapses and the matter goes to trial, it would deal a blow to its efforts to use Matlala as a state witness against police officers who are already charged in the case. NPA spokesperson Kaiser Khanyago.
It was dependent on this ruling that what is happening today. Therefore, until this matter is finalized, therefore nothing can be done, because that affidavit is as part of the condition that is related to this plea agreement. Therefore, if that agreement is not finalized, we cannot use that evidence.
And Malawian nationals who were forcibly removed from their homes in KwaZulu-Natal after anti-illegal immigration marches say they are living in fear of being killed. At least 150 migrants have been left stranded on the streets of Marion Park, and that's in west of Durban. They've told EWN that after the June 30 demonstrations, a group of people chased foreign nationals out of their homes. Thabiso Goba spoke to some of the affected migrants and filed this report.
Malawian national Bonali Ali has lived in Marion Park for 11 years. He works as a tailor, has friends, and says until recently saw himself as an integral member of the community. Ali says he's leaving all of that behind as he no longer feels safe in South Africa.
Asifuni ngoba vele bayeza zozibulala. Ya manje siyasaba nje. Singafe njengazinja yabo.
I don't want to stay here anymore because they're waiting for me. I'm scared. We're going to be killed like dogs.
Pastor Bright Piri says he's also leaving his church and congregation behind and returning to Malawi.
I'm just thanking God to allow us to go back home, to leave this country in peace. But what I'm asking the people over here, please, when you chase the people, don't beat, don't kill a person.
Like many of the stranded migrants, Piri says it's no longer possible to reintegrate himself into the Marion Park community. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News, Durban.
Gold is trading at $4,065.42 an ounce. The rand is at 16.38 to the dollar, 21.77 to the pound, 18.65 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $70.74 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North leaving Sunning Hill. This is due to roadworks. The same roadworks are also causing delays on the N1 South towards the Buccleuch interchange. Traffic is also backed up due to more roadworks in the city of Tshwane. This is just as you leave Montana Park towards Sifakomakhato exit on the N1 South.
And in your sport, Bafana return home following FIFA World Cup adventure in North America. Overnight, we saw England as well as Belgium and the USA pick up victories and move on to the round of 16. The Proteas women are trying to bring everything together for their semi-final against England this evening. And we had vintage Novak Djokovic at Wimbledon.
A fine day in store for Gauteng, Johannesburg, starting at 7 degrees, peaking at 15. Pretoria, 9 and 18. Vereeniging, 10 and 13 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Bafana return home after making history at the FIFA World Cup.
EWN In touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It is Thursday, the 2nd of July, the year of our Lord 2026. Welcome to the program. On our menu today, we look at something that isn't necessarily new, but I think is yet another indication of some of the difficulties we have in protecting citizens and looking after South Africans. Young boys kidnapped by syndicates who take them to so-called initiation schools, who will not release them back to their families, but instead insist that those families pay the money for the circumcision and for accommodating these young boys taken against their will and very often without the consent or knowledge of their families. Where are the police when something like that happens? It's apparently quite prevalent now in the Northwest Province, so we'll speak to the police there. And then, what do they say? One thing in life that is certain, death and taxes. I said to Zane, we can't speak to the Grim Reaper, but we can speak to the taxman. And so our big interview today is with the newly minted SARS Commissioner, Dr. Johnston Makubu, who's going to tell you what you need to know for the 2026 filing season.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 6 o'clock, of course, we're keeping an eye on goings-on at the airport. Bafana touching down this morning as they return from the FIFA World Cup. They are at OR Tambo International Airport, and I see on television they're now best buddies. Hey, what does it take to repair a relationship? Just go to the World Cup together. The Minister of Sports, Arts and Recreation, Gayton McKenzie, flanked by Mama Joy and other Bafana supporters as they return to, I think, a warm welcome. Shame, man, I saw the South Korean team returning to boos when they landed at Seoul Airport, following, of course, their departure from the World Cup. Thanks to Bafana. How are you feeling about the World Cup so far? Did you watch all the games yesterday? I thought the DRC had a real chance against England yesterday until they didn't. And the Senegalese squandering that 2-0 lead against Belgium. I was crushed by that. Mateo, how many of the games did you see yesterday?
1.5. So I watched the Congo and England game.
Yeah.
And then watched the first half of the Senegal and Belgium game, which the first half ended at 11, and I thought, okay, that's about it. Let me go to bed. But as I checked the highlights this morning, absolutely crushed. I mean, they say the most dangerous score in football is 2-0, and that played out yesterday.
So what is it that you think, because, I mean, I watched DRC Congo, and you can't tell me they couldn't match the English for skill. You can't tell me they couldn't match the English for stamina. We could physically match these European teams, these much more lauded teams, not laundered, lauded teams. Is it belief?
I think it's also just being ruthless in front of goal. The misuse of chances also catches up with you at this stage of the World Cup. I mean, with England, they had a lot of chances that the keeper kept out, did really well. The Congo keeper did really well yesterday, but it just took 2 chances for Harry Kane to wrap that game up, you know. And I think for the most part, Congo had matched them. And I don't believe they went into that game thinking it would be that hard. And
the English now.
Yes, the English ever thought that it would be that hard to go past Congo. But yesterday, they definitely pushed them all the way.
Amma, were you watching any of the games yesterday?
I was watching the Congo versus England game, and I wasn't impressed with Congo, particularly in the second half. I felt like they were becoming tired, and it looked a bit obvious that they were now waiting for the penalties. And the goalkeeper definitely worked harder than everybody else on the field.
He could have been man of the match.
He could have been. It was so unfortunate that, you know, sometimes you are only as good as your team if you are playing in a team kind of a format. If it was a singular kind of like a setup, he would have definitely gotten the man of the match.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
12 minutes after 6, we have a shout out as always, of course, and this is to illustrate something that we think you ought to know about that is in the news. And today's shout out is a very simple one. I want to know, how important is human interaction for you when you get a service, right? How important is it that the front of office staff at any establishment are indeed humans like you, who speak as you do, who sound as you do? So whether it's, the receptionist at a hotel, or the teller at the supermarket, or somebody who can help you locate a product at the supermarket. If you are in a mall, for example, are you one of those that wants a help desk, or do you like those screens where they show you are here and you have to tap and it then shows a full map of the shopping center that you are visiting? Do you need the human touch? Would you be okay with a robot waiter taking your order and delivering it? Would you be okay arriving at a hotel and there's a robot at reception and it doesn't even have to check anything because everything is within its mainframe, as it were? So it doesn't have to open up a computer and check or pick up pieces of paper to see if indeed you made that booking, Mr. Khwaripe. How would that feel?
I still like the human touch because sometimes there's situations you need to explain. So say there's a robot at the front of a restaurant and you've missed the booking that you've made by about 15 minutes. With the robot, it will remain that you missed the booking by 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And we've moved on.
Ms. Ramila has now taken your booking.
Whereas you can explain to a human to say, look,
computer
traffic,
says no.
I knocked off late, whatever the case is, my wife's birthday, let us
Computer says no.
Oh, you see.
Computer says no.
Can't have that.
Right? Amo, are you ready for a robot to hit its head? Ikupela void?
No. I do think we still need a lot of human, people to be in front of desk, helping out, doing. Yesterday, I was at the Pick and Pay, right? And I was buying a simple thing like a SIM card, right?
Yeah.
And, you need to go to the money market kind of,
Correct.
Where it's more
Correct.
quicker. There I am, waiting to buy the small little thing. And there's two ladies in front of me buying flight tickets. Right. And they were struggling because, somebody else sent them to go buy the tickets, to go do the booking at the till. Right.
Correct.
It's a mess, Bongani. They can't understand the lady who speaks Sesotho and doesn't speak isiZulu. They trying to speak.
Robot takes care of all of that.
No. But the robot can, speak all languages.
It will be trained, Galog. It will be trained.
I don't
In
think.
the same way ChatGPT and Claude and all of these AI functions already are starting to learn different languages.
Even if the robot is there, we'll still need to have a
human
person there.
touch.
Yeah.
All right, so the question then really is, what are those services or duties or functions performed by humans, particularly when it comes to delivering a service, you are not ready to see taken over by robots? Yes, we've got artificial intelligence back of house in terms of how these systems operate in the background, but are you ready for that to happen front of office, as it were? And bear in mind, you and I may say, hold on, what about my gogo? What about my mkulu? They're not ready to experience such. The rest of the world is moving on. Do we then sacrifice getting left behind technologically because we think we're not ready?
Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
Well. Here's another question. At the top of the hour, Sfiso Zulu was telling us that Parliament's Communications Committee Chair, Kusela Diko, has not ruled out an inquiry to probe discussions involving a private PR company, Minister Solly Malatsi and Starlink. You may remember, of course, Clement Manyatela did an extraordinary interview yesterday with the CEO of Resolve Communication. And if you want to understand this issue, please go to X and read a letter written by Michael Beaumont from Action SA. And it's an open letter, of course, addressed to Tony Leon, the former leader of the DA, who is, of course, one of the people behind Resolve Communications. And essentially the allegations that have emerged in the public domain, we heard from John Steenhuisen, the former leader of the DA, now demoted, of course, to a deputy minister, having been agriculture minister. And one of the things John Steenhuisen alleged is the influence of Resolve Communication, the so-called PR company, fronted by the likes of Tony Leon, as interfering in the work of DA-appointed ministers. And the inference is very clear. If you don't toe the line, you are moved out. This is essentially what Michael Beaumont argues in this letter, and he uses a number of examples, including, of course, what appears now to have been the case from what John Steenhuisen is alleging. But Beaumont even goes back further in 2019 when Herman Mashaba was mayor of Johannesburg. And Beaumont says that Leon had apparently approached the then mayor to advocate a contract which Mashaba refused, kicking Leon out of his house for even daring to make the request. How long did Mashaba last as mayor of Johannesburg in the party? And he's making the argument that for Leon to argue that they're a lobbying company like any other is disingenuous, because Leon is a very powerful player within DA circles. And traditionally, and for a long time now, what he wants to happen has typically happened in the DA. It's one of those scenarios where, you know, when you were kids, we couldn't wait to be adults, right? What's that thing you wanted to do when you were a child? You thought, how hard could that be? Right, Amo?
I actually didn't want to do it. I delayed it because I thought, this is not hard. Cooking was that for me.
Learning to cook.
Yeah.
You're still learning now, hey? Mattel?
I thought parenting would be easy. I wanted to be a parent because I was like, come on.
How hard could it be?
These harsh rules. I'll definitely parent differently. But now I get it.
Driving? I thought driving would be easy.
And you found out.
Not that it's difficult, but for example, the idea of driving across the country. Right, on a cross-country trip, where you do get fatigued and you do get sleepy, and I thought, how hard could it be? You're just sitting. But of course, it's a whole lot more. I think the DA is finding out just how tricky it is to be in government.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk.
Muteo Kharepa, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know from you and the 702 landers this morning, which product would break your heart if it changed its recipe? Something you like eating, like drinking, and if they tweak the recipe any direction, you'd be like,
don't touch Stony ginger beer. They've already tweaked it. There's the stronger one now.
Yeah.
Don't touch that one.
So don't make it.
Don't.
Oh, they've also got a zero version which I don't like.
That's fine. It's an option. But don't mess with the current.
Original
No, the strong one.
Yes.
That one. The new one.
So you still want to cough when you drink it.
Wow.
702.
Weather.
What conditions can you expect on this Thursday? A fine day in store for Gauteng. Temperatures maxing at only 15 degrees in Johannesburg. So it's a bit of a cold one in Gauteng. 13 is your high in Vereeniging, 18 in Pretoria. Bombela, a little warmer, 25. Polokwane, 24. Mahikeng, also 15. Bloemfontein is 10 degrees is your max. Durban, partly cloudy, some isolated showers expected. 16 degrees is your peak. It's 17 for Gqeberha and 18 for East London. Cape Town, partly cloudy, isolated showers expected there. Temperatures peaking at 14 degrees.
EWN traffic.
21 after 6. Let's have a first look at the roads. Amma, what are you seeing?
Well, Bongani, we've got delays around the Baklu interchange. These routes that are affected include the N1 North as well as the N3 North. This is just as you approach the Baklu turnoff. It's due to those roadworks. And then traveling on the N1 South, we've got an accident coming out of Allendale Road. It's causing heavy delays as well. There's another accident reported in Omondi as you approach Boyson's Road. Delays coming out of Xavier Street, about a 15-minute hold up there. Please be on the lookout and approach with care. We'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Good morning, Bongani. Good morning, team. Yeah, man, I think I'm ready. I wouldn't mind walking into Pick and Pay, for example, and there's a robot there guiding me as to where the noodles are packed. Because human interaction sometimes, find someone is stressed from home, they're not friendly, they're upset, giving you attitude, all of that. So robots no feelings. They just do what they are there to do. Sky and Gatlong, thanks.
Hey, Bongs, good morning. Yes, it's Donald, man. Yesterday, man, regarding the human touch, man. Yesterday I was at F&B. I didn't know how to print a bank statement on a PC, so I needed a bank assistant there to print that. Yeah, I mean, I need, because if something I don't know, I need someone to help me, man, because I didn't know. So I had to ask that lady to come and help me. Yeah, I think sometimes you need a human touch. It's Donald here. Thanks for the great show. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the great show. Are you ready for a robot to present this show? There you go. Are you ready for a robot hosting 702 Breakfast? I think not.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
We're also talking about those things that when you were younger, perhaps, you thought you could do. It looked so easy for the DA to be in government, right? Remember, they were the official opposition for how long? Howling and howling and howling because it all looked so easy. I think this PR, and isn't it ironic that it's a PR firm, this PR disaster with Tony Leon's Resolve Communications is something that is going to leave a very bad taste in many, many mouths. But somebody else was finding out just how difficult it is to think about running the country and the economy and what it takes to make things work. I want you to listen to one of these anti-immigration activists. His name is Nkosikhona. What do they call him? What's his middle name, his nickname? Pagelum Tagat Ndabandaba, right? He's one of the leaders of these anti-migration protests we have seen. He was being interviewed in a podcast, and he's got very, very nice sounding solutions for how he might run South Africa. Have a listen.
South Africa can pay South Africans 1 million every year for the rest of their lives. Let's say the average life expectancy in South Africa is 70 years. South Africa can pay 70 million to each person in this country to sustain themselves for the rest of their lives. We don't even need to work. We can have these legal immigrants coming to South Africa to work for us, like in Dubai. In the Arab Emirates, only foreigners are working. The citizens, the owners, the indigenous people of Dubai, they don't work. We can have that in South Africa. If I were to be given a chance as a president in this country, when I'm 90 years old, so like all of them, I would, in 12 months, I will transform this country to be the second most beautiful country in the world, better than America. I will make a South African enjoy working in a farm. I will make a miner be passionate about working, going down 6 kilometers under the ground to go and look for that gold. Because that gold, when he finds it, it will never leave this country. That diamond, it will never leave that country.
So we are more prepared to listen to people like this than Botuma Kubula, for example. I mean, that's ultimately where we are going, right? What he's proposing would be possible if there was only a population of 70 people in the country. Then you could give everybody 1 million to make up that 70 million that he's talking about. Sure. So he actually has no idea what the number 70 million actually means. When a friend of mine sent me this, I really didn't believe it. He was talking on MDN TV, right? A platform called MDN TV. And you can hear the host nodding along, convinced. So people like this, what do you think they're telling the guys they get to come and march on the streets about what they can do for them? If he goes on a public platform and basically does this tavern economics, hey? This tavern arithmetic.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Things you need to know at this hour. The U.S. Supreme Court declining without comment to hear Donald Trump's appeal against a $5 million sexual abuse verdict in favor of the author E. Jean Carroll. Remember, she was the one, of course, who said that Trump had sexually abused her in a retail store dressing room in the 90s and later defamed her by calling her claims a hoax and a lie. Trump had appealed this all the way to the Supreme Court when an earlier court found against him, and the Supreme Court has declined to hear it, so he must now pay this $5 million. There's a separate $83 million defamation judgment tied to the same claims. One wonders if he'll have to pay for those. Now, imagine walking into a factory, a hospital, or even a supermarket and being greeted by a robot. That's why we're asking our shout out this morning, because that's exactly what Japan is planning. The government unveiling an ambitious strategy to develop its own AI model and to deploy 10 million AI-powered robots across industries ranging from manufacturing to logistics to healthcare and finance by the year 2040. And it's backed by billions of dollars in public funding. And this is what Japan is planning to do. Are we going to be left behind? How do you preserve history, and is it important to do so? There's an incredible debate playing out in Germany. So authorities want to demolish one of the last remaining bunkers used by Adolf Hitler's Nazi party, and they want to demolish it to make way for housing and offices. City leaders say that site risks becoming a pilgrimage destination for extremists who would like, of course, to see the Nazi ideology return. Historians are arguing, don't do it. Preserve it as a museum, because it is one of the last physical reminders of where some of the decisions that shaped World War II were taken. Adam Gilchrist will have more in the World View. Now, how high would you go for love, hey, Sfiso Zulu? One answer, the top of the Empire State Building. I mean, if you've got a fear of heights like I do, watch these videos. These two, a Russian couple, Angela Nicolau and one Ivan Kuznetsov, climbed the iconic New York scraper this week, and they unfold a peace banner and took selfies of themselves to get engaged. Of course, they were soon arrested. But you'll know them also from Netflix's Skywalkers, A Love Story. They now face multiple criminal charges after scaling one of the world's most famous buildings. What's the most outrageous proposal you've heard of? And are you a grand jester type of person in relationships? And is that welcome these days? I think the young people call it love bombing, eh? Who's bad? Who's bad? Well, that was the question that had the world talking in 1988. Dirty Diana, Michael Jackson's monster hit, hitting #1 on the US charts on this day in 1988.
You never make me stay, so take your weight off of me. I know your every move, so won't you just let me be? I've been here times before, but I was too blind to see that you seduce every man. This time you won't seduce me. Just saying that's okay. Hey baby, do as you please. I have the stuff that you want. I am the thing that you need. She looked me deep in the eyes. She touching me so to start. She says there's no turning back. She got me.
I had a lyric book, and I still know all the words. I've been screaming them off mic. This was the 5th #1 single from the Bad album, making Michael Jackson the first artist to record 5 #1 singles from the same album.
702.
The newspapers.
A very clean Sfiso Zulu is in the studio to talk about the newspapers. Sfiso, I'm looking at the front page of the Sowetan newspaper this morning, and they're talking about the few arrests for the many Gauteng shootings. The Business Day, Richards Bay smelter for sale, and the Citizen saying graft is Cyril serious. This, of course, after the appointment of the disgraced Dina Pule back into cabinet.
Yeah, just a quick one, Bongani. Iran and the US are still thrashing out that deal following the funeral of the Iranian leader who was killed when the war started earlier this year in February. So that's what we're tracking internationally.
All right, let's go to business news.
EWN Business.
Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't change it. What's that one product that would break your heart if it were tweaked? Your favorite drink, your favorite snack? What prompts the question, Mateo?
Morning, Nestle SA is changing its recipe for Kit Kat bars across Europe to make them crispier and add a hazelnut tone.
Aye.
Kit Kat is the second most consumed chocolate bar in the world behind Snickers, making $2.8 billion every year. So the firm says it's not tweaking the formula because of higher cocoa prices. The changes to one of the world's most popular chocolate bars planned for September 2027 across most of Europe are designed to attract consumers who wouldn't have turned to Kit Kat for their sweet
What about
taste.
those who do?
if you want to take a break, you have to taste a bit of.
They could add a bar, is what they could do.
You want
one more
bars?
line, one more finger.
I think there are bigger ones.
No, I don't want the big one, but just one more finger.
One more finger.
Yes.
Are you sure that would be enough? They're making them crispier now. So for a long time, Nestle thought taste preferences for milk chocolate, the kind that surrounds the wafers in a standard Kit Kat, contradicted those of dark chocolate lovers. So blame those that love dark chocolate. So they're trying to and match that taste, and they think it's going to work for the market. Now, there's many other products that have tweaked their recipes. Coca-Cola in 1985, the company replacing its original formula with New Coke, sparking consumer outrage. Nutella in 2017, the recipe was tweaked to increase the amount of sugar and powdered milk. That changed the color of Nutella to a much lighter colored spread that many fans felt tasted more artificial. Twinkies, when Hostess, which is the company, relaunched the snack cake, they tweaked the recipe to extend its shelf life. That was not a popular decision. Pringles as well, the iconic stacked chips, have transitioned over the years to contain less potato, often around 40%, and a higher ratio of cheaper starches and flour.
You know what the moral of the story is? Just eat healthy. Celery and lettuce never change their taste. Your indicators?
They're not as sweet. 16 Rand 38 against the US dollar, doing well this morning. 18 Rand 65 against the euro. 21 Rand 76 cents against the British pound. Price of gold, $4,071 an ounce, while platinum is up 2.7% at $1,622. Brent crude going down further this morning at $70 a barrel. More business after 7.
Straight to the news desk. Fisa Zulu, hashtag Bayahamba.
Thanks, Wani. Good morning. Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber says he expects the number of undocumented migrants being deported or repatriated to increase in the coming days. Thousands have already left South Africa due to growing fears for their safety as demonstrations against illegal immigration continue in some parts of the country. Government has established a temporary repatriation centre in Musina in Limpopo, where immigration officials are giving the papers that would allow people to cross the Beitbridge border. Schreiber emphasizes he expects many people to proceed and be repatriated in the coming days.
Yes, I don't want to give you a full final number because we're still busy reconciling all of the data we have. What I do know is out of eThekwini, there were over 30,000 people that were processed by Home Affairs. But that doesn't take into account people from Cape Town, Joburg, many other locations, and of course the ones that are currently here in Musina.
And in KwaZulu-Natal, heightened law enforcement visibility will remain in parts of Durban following demonstrations against illegal foreign immigration. While the protest actions were mainly peaceful and orderly, some people took advantage of the situation and disrupted businesses. Areas in the west of Durban, including Claremont and Marion Hill, were affected with some shops looted. eThekwini Mayor Cyril Xaba says the city will take no chances.
The minister said we must be on alert and leading to the 30th and beyond the 30th. So the city remains on alert. Our metro policies are all over, and I don't see the police withdrawing until the situation has fully stabilized. So I'm on the ground monitoring that the situation finally stabilizes.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 9 and 10 degrees, peaking at highs between 15 and 18 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the Makwa North. This is between Boysons Road and Car Street. A major accident between these 2 points. Please be on the lookout there. Delays coming out of Xavier Street. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South towards the Baklu interchange due to roadworks.
The top story this hour, Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber says he expects the number of undocumented migrants being deported or repatriated to increase in the coming days.
What is your business here? You didn't start your business to play it safe. You took the leap, made the bold move, and now it's time to make the next one. Next week, 702 and Budget Business Insurance are giving small businesses the chance to win their share of 100,000 Rand with the Budget BizBucks Bonanza. Enter on PrimeMediaPlus.com. Tell us about the boldest move you've ever made in your business and what your next one will be. Then get an obligation-free Budget Business Insurance quote. 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa could call you. Budget Insurance is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
Is there a word for the feeling of a road disappearing over the horizon? Beyonding? What about the feeling you get when you see sunlight flickering through rows of trees?
sun fizzing. Anyway, some things don't like to be explained. They just ask to be felt. Like the feeling of a drive built around you. Technology that's human first makes you one with your car in a way that you can't explain. You can only feel. And there's a word for that. Mazda. Wonder awaits. At the 702 Josie Majosi Walk the Talk, snap and share any one of 5 Mazda Wonder experiences using hashtag MazdaSA to stand a chance to win a share of 50,000 Rand.
Light the fire this weekend with Checkers. We have everything you need to keep the braai and the fierce going strong. Get Championship Boerewors, thick or thin, or Boerie Bites for 109.99 per kilo. Simple Truth Natural Lamb Chops for 179.99 per kilo. Steakhouse Classic Man-Size Rump for 189.99 per kilo. And Steakhouse Classic Porterhouse Steak for 199.99 per kilo. Valid until 5 July, only at Checkers.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? It's brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. All you need to do is send us an answer based on something that piqued your interest during the show. We'll give you $1,000 for that. WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Now, someone else will ask a question to get to your answer, and they'll win 2,000 Rand. Now, you always stand a better chance of being selected to give us an answer if you've SMS'd out to Outsurance to get yourself a quote. So do it now. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Oh, Bongani, yeah, for me, you can take away every example you just mentioned. Take the human away from that. I don't care. I'll work with a computer any day. The more I interact with humans, the more I love my dog. From Rustenburg.
I couldn't wait for a time where we would have to deal with human beings. I'd rather deal with robots. Yes, but I mean, I do agree with Mateo. In those complicated situations, the exceptions where you need a human being, but definitely I'd rather deal with robots any time of the day, any time. Not that I necessarily hate humans, but I'd rather. Humans are quite complicated species. Machines. I mean, look at Waymo in America. Waymo has, though it has its challenges, but it's better. Prince, enjoy.
We're talking about our readiness for the world essentially to be run by computers and robots, particularly those service jobs that are typically performed by human beings. The reception, the hotel concierge, for example, the waiter. Are you ready for those to be taken over by robots? Japan is investing billions into doing exactly this. They're going to roll out over 10 million robots by the year 2040 to fulfill those functions. Do we get emotional and say not yet here in South Africa, and as the rest of the world steams ahead, get left behind?
Good morning, Bongani 702 team. Yolande from Centurion. I completely agree with Amo. I watched the DRC versus England match, and really, Congo could have won it. It was an unnecessary loss because after when they came back second half, it seems like they were really tired. They just gave it away. And also after scoring that goal, they just allowed the ball to continuously be on England's side. So I don't know what happened to the DRC team after scoring that goal, but it was really, really frustrating watching that game because they could have easily won that game.
EWN Sport.
You know what? I'm going to talk about positive things. Anthony Teixeira in for Cindy Peluta. I've got some images that are coming through on my phone. I've actually got a cousin who is at the airport right now. That's how invested he is in Bafana Bafana. They've just touched down at OR International, haven't they, Anthony?
They have indeed, Bongani. Good morning. Fans have gathered to welcome Bafana Bafana back to South Africa at OR Tambo International Airport following the exit from the FIFA World Cup. It was an exit at the round of 32 at the feet of Canada. However, they did become the first Bafana side in history to make it through to the knockouts of the showpiece. Overnight results continued at the World Cup with late goals. England captain Harry Kane with the brace to salvage a 2-1 win over DR Congo, with Thomas Tuchel excited by that comeback spirit.
It's so good to get this feeling on the sideline as a coach, because while you're trying to support and while you're trying to help and support from the sideline, you get this feeling that players are free, players are not anxious. We didn't play with fear, we played with determination, and then we just didn't accept it. Knew that these knockout matches in this part of the tournament, you need to just find a way.
Even more African heartbreak as Senegal allowed a 2-goal lead to disappear.
Ugh, how?
Listen, it was a ridiculous end to the game.
How?
But yeah, Belgium converted an extra time stoppage time penalty to complete a 3-2 comeback win. And the USA won 2-0 against Bosnia and Herzegovina. In cricket, captain Laura Wolfhard believes that the Proteas women will hopefully get things all together at the T20 World Cup after a less than stellar group stage, which saw them finish second in their group. They meet the hosts England later today in the semi-final, with Australia awaiting the winner in Sunday's final.
Super excited. I think what's exciting about it is we've made the semis and we probably haven't even been at our best as a team yet. I think we've found a way to win games, which has been good. Been on the winning side more often than not.
Meanwhile, the first T20 between the English and Indian men was washed out. The Indians had been in devastating form as they posted 189 for 7 with quickfire half centuries from Sharma and Iyer. And in tennis, a vintage Novak Djokovic on court as he won the third round of Wimbledon with a straight set victory over Stefanos Tsitsipas.
Yeah, I like the terminology vintage. It's nice. Brings back the best days, and obviously you feel very happy and satisfied and joyful on the court when you're playing this way. Once you get the momentum going, a bit more relaxed, a bit less tension in my head, overthinking on how to anticipate for his serve.
We also had both the men's and women's world number ones, Yannick Sinner and Arina Sabalenka, pick up straight set wins, while on his return to Grand Slam tennis, Nick Kyrgios swore at an umpire and said he didn't care about a potential fine. It didn't help him on court that much as his doubles match with partner Alexander Bublik ended in defeat. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hello, I am Bonolo. I am 12 years old. I am a student at Witchwood Primary School, and I'm excited to play the quiz game with Uncle Bongani. Thank you.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
16 to 7, the EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 Rand. There are delays on the N1 South. Amo, what's going on?
That's correct, Bongani. This is just as you leave Midrand towards the Baku turnoff. It's due to roadworks that are taking place along this route. As a result, I'm also picking up delays along Pretoria Main Road. This is due to people trying to avoid the backlog on the N1 South. So also do expect delays if you are traveling on Pretoria Main Road towards the Baku Bridge. While traveling on the Mike 1 North, we've got an accident reported right near Boyson's Road. It's causing heavy delays. There's also queuing traffic reported on the M2 West. That's between Heidelberg Road and the Crown Interchange at this moment. If you're heading towards the Joburg CBD, do expect about a 40-minute hold up. And traveling on the N3 North, delays between the Elands Turnoff and Van Buren Road due to roadworks. I'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Clever excuses for being late, number 95. I had load shedding and couldn't charge my phone, so I didn't have an alarm. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
Every time a new technology emerges, it goes to enterprise first. Big business gets payments, independent businesses wait. Big business gets AI, independent businesses wait. Independent businesses, though, employ 60% of South Africa's economy and keep money in communities, and they've always been last in line. Well, Yoko exists to change all of that, to give you AI that guides you on what to do next. Loyalty that rewards your customers automatically. Tools built for your reality. The unfair advantage for the businesses that deserve it most. Yoko, let's grow.
Hey guys, this is Robert Marawa, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Playing responsibly is part of the winning strategy. Make smart choices and continue to score. If you or someone that you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Good morning, Bongani Bingwa and the team. Growing up, I always wanted to be an adult. I always wanted to be an adult, make my own decisions, have my own place, drive my own car. But manje, adulting is showing me flames. It's not easy being an adult, hey? Zandile Nziwa.
Hi, Bongs. So I remember when I was a young girl and I would stand next to my big sister and she would, when she's dishing up, and she would always have the biggest chunk of meat dished up for herself, and the rest of us coming after her, we would get the smallest pieces. And standing next to her as she's dishing up, I would always say in my heart, you know what, wait until I grow up, you'll see. And now that I'm old, I remember how diligent she was. She would have been, cleaning the house, doing all the chores during the day. I would be doing nothing because I was the last born. So she would be doing all the chores throughout the day. And probably at night, that was her only chance of thanking herself, rewarding herself for all the hard work during the day. That's why she would give herself the biggest portions. So now I understand.
We thought it would be so easy. I remember, Amo, a cousin of mine, I was just about to get my driver's license. I already had my learners.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how tiring driving can be, especially if you're doing lots of short trips around the town, zipping in and out of the city. And I thought, what on earth is this woman talking? How could you get tired
because you're just
from
sitting.
driving? Because you're just sitting.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Let's give away some cash, shall we? Today we're playing the Whiz Quiz with 12-year-old Bonolo. Bonolo is on the line with us. Bonolo, I'm told you want to be a therapist later on in life.
Yes, I'd love to become a therapist.
Can you tell us why?
Because I love it when people come to talk to me about their problems, and I like solving people's problems.
Ooh, let's see if you can solve these little 10 problems I have for you, Bonolo, to win 10,000 Rand. KG, won't you be so kind as to start the clock? Bonolo, how many degrees are there in a right angle?
There are 90 degrees
Correct.
in a right angle.
True or false? The point above an earthquake's focus is called the epicenter.
True.
Correct. In which city are the Wimbledon tennis courts?
London.
Correct. Which country is directly north of the Limpopo?
Zimbabwe.
Correct. True or false? Pretoria is South Africa's administrative capital.
True.
Correct. Does the word commend mean suggest or praise?
Praise.
Correct. On what date is former President Nelson Mandela's birthday?
18 July.
Correct. What color do you associate with environmentally friendly products?
Green.
Correct. In which century are we living now?
The 21st century.
Correct. Spell the word invented.
INVENTED.
Banana, 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 banana. 10 correct answers. 10,000 Rand. Bonolo, you've won 10,000 Rand. You got everything correct.
Thank you.
Are you stunned into silence?
Oh, Bonolo.
Bonolo, well done. Well done, my baby. How are you feeling?
Emotional.
What do you think you're going to do with 10,000 Rand?
I don't know.
You don't know yet. Listen, take your time to figure it out. Congratulations. Very well done. We'll certainly be in touch with the producers to tell you how we're going to give you this money and do all of those behind the scenes arrangements. We play the Whiz Quiz every morning. You must be 10 to 13 to compete. And all you need to do is answer 10 questions correctly within 60 seconds. That's exactly what Bonolo has done. How absolutely fantastic.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
8 minutes to 7. On to this now. Please help me. Let's rescue my son. That's the desperate cry echoing through parts of the Northwest as fear grips many communities and families at the start of initiation season. So this is not necessarily a new phenomenon, but what happens is there are syndicates who target teenage boys. They abduct them without their consent, certainly without the permission of their families, and they take them to so-called initiation schools where they keep them there for a period of time. And one of the things they do, of course, is to perform the procedure of circumcision. Then they demand money from these families. Mind you, they didn't ask for the families' permission to do this. They say the boys volunteered and therefore they must be compensated for the work they've put into this. And unless and until the money is paid, the boys will not be released. And you can imagine the heartache and the anxiety and the fear for many families as they have to search mountains, villages, hidden camps for their sons. Authorities are saying it's a growing problem linked to illegal initiation schools. You can also imagine the horror that comes with illegal initiation schools where there are simply no rules followed. Well, Colonel Adele Myberg is the spokesperson of the Northwest Police and joins us now. A very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Good morning and thank you for the opportunity.
I understand already this initiation season you've rescued as many as 16 boys from illegal initiation schools?
Yes, that's actually just one incident which you're talking about. There was more than just 16 boys so far.
Explain.
Well, the incident that you are talking about happened on one day.
No,
That was on the 12th of June. Yeah.
No,
Apart from that, there was other cases or other times that we also have boys
Colonel,
rescued.
no, I'm not describing one incident. I'm saying this is what they typically do. We've seen it in other provinces as well. So I would imagine it's now happening in the Northwest, as you say.
It's not a new thing. This is not the first time that we've had it this year. It's been going on. It's an ongoing problem.
Yes, that's what I was saying earlier in my introduction. So you've arrested 16 from one you've rescued, I beg your pardon, 16 boys from one initiation school.
Actually, it was in one area from more than one school.
All right, so talk to me. How widespread is this problem? What's going on?
Well, this specific incident happened after parents came to report their children as missing. And with the assistance of Kokta, we were, immediately mobilized and we went in Itusing and the Bodibi village area, went looking for these children that was reported. I just want to say at this stage that remember a child is regarded as a child under the age of 18. The moment a boy turns 18 or any child as a matter of fact, they're regarded as an adult. And then they don't need permission from the parents to go through this process. And that is where the problem comes in. Boys, a lot of time, they would run away from home with friends. Obviously there's peer pressure. They want to go through this process. The parents do not necessarily agree with it, but the boys do it irregardless. And they go through this process. And these schools is not for free. There's money paid, for them, for the person that physically does the procedure when it comes to the child being circumcised. I say a child, but actually they are grown-ups, regarded as grown-ups by law.
Hold on, Colonel. Let me just figure it out. So, for example,
Yeah.
the 16 you rescued, none of them were minors. Is that what you're saying?
Some of them were, and some of them weren't. I think there were 3 of them that were minors.
So it's a mixed picture in the sense that
It's a
some
mixed-
are over
yes.
18, and in a
Most-
sense, then
most are. Yeah, most are.
Yeah, let me finish. You're not listening to me. So some of them are over 18, and in a sense, then the law regards that as a voluntary participation. But obviously, for those who are underage, they're minors, and their families need to consent.
Absolutely.
Tell me, what was the condition of the 16 boys you rescued?
All of them were obviously taken for medical treatment because they'd been circumcised already by then. And then the parents were called to the local hospital. Those 16 that were rescued, as I said, they're between the ages of 14 and 35. 14, 15, 16, and 17. There was quite a bunch of those. And then after the parents came, the 3 of those children, of those 16, were taken back home by the parents, and the others, the parents requested Kokta to assist them to enroll them at a legal initiation school for them to further their initiation as per their tradition.
Colonel, were there any arrests made for those people who were running these schools and who did this to these boys?
Yes, we actually managed to arrest a suspect which is 27 years old, specifically in the Itusing area, also last week. Once more, we received information, and Kokta is the persons that went around with the police, assisted them, and what was done is they found initially one of these illegal initiation schools that was not registered, and at some stage, it just found like an open, they could see there's a school, but there was no one around. And then we kept on going back with assistance with the local community. Then we received the tip, and on Wednesday the 24th, we traced the suspect and arrested him. And on the 25th, that's when we then found these boys that was missing. They were actually locked inside a shack. And they were rescued then at Matseli village, 6 of them in the shack, and then, as I said, furthermore 7 was also found nearby in the same village. That's where we got to the 16 that were rescued.
Do the families tell you how much is demanded of them to return their boys?
Well, we actually only had in that area only one parent that came to report that the child went missing. And the child was reported as a missing person. I know of one parent that through the media we learned that the parents were forced to pay 1,500 rand before they were willing to release the child. These schools do ask money for the child to be circumcised and to go through this process, and the money, the amounts are actually being governed by Kokta as to how much they're allowed to ask.
Right, Colonel Adele Myberg from the Northwest Police telling us about these abductions. Sometimes, of course, the boys, or I suppose young men, are themselves eager to go and participate in this process. But gosh, it's a frightening one given what can go wrong when people don't know what they're doing.
7:02. Coming up, the big interview.
Big interview, how to stay on the right side of the taxman. That's coming up.
This is EWN.
Some opposition parties say bringing Dinapule back as minister is a bad move, and
I was there to cherish my team. Bafana, they've done well. I am so happy.
it's joy all around at OR Tambo Airport for Bafana's return. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Action SA has slammed new cabinet appointments, saying promoting the ANC's Dina Pule to Social Development Minister is scrapping the bottom of the barrel. Pule is the only change made to the ANC's cabinet deployees to replace former Minister Sisisito Lashe after serving as Parliament's committee chairperson on agriculture. But Action SA says the reshuffle is just another example of a government of national unity that is out of ideas while clinging to a bloated executive of 75 ministers and deputies. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Yesterday's cabinet reshuffle was brought on by DA leader Jordan Hill-Lewis, who for the first time since assuming the role asked President Cyril Ramaphosa to make several changes to the party's executive structure in government. But Action SA says moving former leader and agriculture minister John Steenhuisen to a deputy minister's portfolio is indefensible. Action SA believes he mishandled the foot and mouth crisis and should have been dismissed. Earlier this week, Hill-Lewis defended the shift in Steenhuisen's portfolio.
John is going to be a great Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry. He's passionate about trade issues. His biggest legacy at agriculture is that he did really well in opening up trade access.
Meanwhile, Action SA says Steenhuisen's replacement at agriculture, Willie Okamp, is also uninspiring, following his short tenure at forestry, fisheries and the environment, where his association with the captive lion and breeding industry has been called into question. Action SA continues to advocate for the abolishment of deputy ministers through a private members' bill tabled in Parliament. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Parliament's Communications Committee Chairperson Kusela Sangoni Diko has not ruled out an inquiry to probe discussions involving a private PR company, Minister Solly Malatsi and Starlink. Diko has already written to Malatsi requesting clarity on allegations contained in recent media reports about engagements between the company's founder Tony Leon, Elon Musk's Starlink, and Solly Malatsi. This follows a Media 24 interview where former DA leader John Steenhuisen revealed that Leon's company was central in discussions to lobby Malatsi change policy so that he could benefit Starlink as it tries to enter the local market. Babalondense reports.
The involvement of Resolve Communications in facilitating engagements between members of the government and private sector clients like Starlink has now reached Parliament. In her letter to Solly Malatsi, Kusela Diko notes that the allegations, which remain untested, are of a serious nature. She says they raise questions regarding the propriety of engagements between public office bearers and private interests in matters that may relate to policy development and executive decision-making.
We're not ruling out wanting to look into an inquiry on this Resolve Communications, because Minister Malatsi is not the only minister that is said to have received this undue influence from Mr. Tony Leon and his company.
Diko said at face value, the allegations invoke a concerning history where private interests sought to direct government policy and executive decisions during the state capture era. While Malatsi has not yet responded to the letter, Leon issued a statement that his company does not and cannot direct the decisions of ministers. Babalondense, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Foreign business owners in Durban have been left counting losses following a wave of targeted lootings. Following the June 30 demonstrations, several shops in Marion Ridge, Hammersdale, Umlazi and Claremont were looted. Majority of those shops were foreign-owned. Tabiso Goba reports.
In Marion Ridge, at least 8 foreign-owned shops were looted between Monday and Tuesday. In Claremont, looters overpowered private security guards, police and CPF members to loot 6 foreign-owned shops on Tuesday night. One of the shops looted in Claremont is Lovemore Supermarket, owned by a Somalian family who've lived in the community for over a decade. Store manager Mohammed Abdul says the shop employed 19 local South Africans who are now without jobs.
Are you going to revive the shop again? What's the plan?
For now, there's nothing which I can say, but we're going to try and see however that we can be able to. Yeah, but it's not easy. Over R1 million stock was inside, which you can see now even the property, it damage that they make out of the stock which was inside.
Community leaders in Claremont have condemned the looting, blaming a minority of criminal elements. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News, Durban.
And finally, fans have gathered at OR Tambo International Airport to welcome Bafana Bafana following a historic FIFA World Cup campaign. For the first time in their 4 appearances at the Global Showpiece event, South Africa progressed out of the group stages before being knocked out by co-host Canada. EWN Sports anchor Tolagile Mganga spoke to some fans at the airport this morning.
Mama Joy, welcome back to South Africa. How was the World Cup? I was there to cherish my team. Bafana Bafana, they've done well. I am so happy because we managed to go to the last 32.
Gold is trading at $4,065.42 an ounce. The rand is at 16.38 to the dollar, 21.77 to the pound, 18.65 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $70.74 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 South. In fact, a stop-and-go situation between Samrand Road and the Baklu interchange. There's also slow-moving traffic along the N3 North. This is between the Elands interchange and Van Buren Road. That's due to roadworks.
And in your sport, Women's T20 World Cup semi-final showdown for the Proteas women and England this evening. Spurs agreed to a record £100 million deal for Sandra Tonali. And we have the latest from the FIFA World Cup round of 32 results.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg is at a low of 7 degrees, peaking at 15. Pretoria 9 and 18. Vereeniging 10 and 13 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Action SA has slammed new cabinet appointments, saying promoting the ANC's Dina Pule to Social Development Minister is scrapping the bottom of the barrel.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Oh my gosh, the excitement has not died down. Bonolo is exactly what we needed this Thursday. Right, KG?
Oh my word, Uncle Bongs. I was listening on the app. When Bonolo won, I immediately ran to YouTube because I wanted to see the faces in the studio. And when she got emotional, that completely broke me. Congratulations to Bonolo. Hello, Bonolo.
Oh man, now I'm chopping onions with Bonolo. Well done, baby girl. Well done.
Big ups to Bonolo. Such a good start to my day. And what a humble girl. Congratulations, young lady.
Well done, Bonolo. Well done.
Bonolo, you've got it. Ooh, I'm so proud of you, my baby. Nantata here, Julian. Thank you, Bongani. Thank you, Bonolo. Thank you, 702 Land.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Here's a question. Do our leaders take us seriously? Do they? You think they sit there and they say, man, whatever, they'll get over it? 2 questions, or at least 2 examples, lead me to that question. The first, of course, are the revelations made by the former DA leader, John Steenhuisen, who essentially says he's been removed as Minister of Agriculture, in part because of pressure that was brought to bear by a PR company, Resolve Communications. This is the same one that is run by the former leader of the DA, his mentor, Tony Leon. The CEO, of course, of Resolve was on Clement Manyatela's show just yesterday. Michael Beaumont, the Action SA politician, has written a scathing letter to Tony Leon, and it really makes for interesting reading. The idea that at least if the version given by John Steenhuisen to News 24 in an interview earlier this week is true, ultimately it suggests that Resolve Communications is able to get ministers fired. Now, how much more Bell Pottinger than that can you get? And if Resolve wants to argue that they're just a lobbying company, ministers don't have to do what they say, you've also got to remember the role that Tony Leon has played within the party and the influence. Herman Mashaba, of course, now leader of Action SA, will put part of his removal, according to this letter by Beaumont, for refusing to essentially grant a contract Leon and Resolve would have advocated for, and when he refused, he didn't last very long. That's the one example. The other, of course, I raised when it was first speculated, the replacement of Sisisi Tolashe as the Minister of Social Development. 2-3 weeks ago, it emerged that the ANC Women's League was pushing for its Deputy Secretary General, Dina Pule, to be the replacement. Now, you could argue that part of why it took the president so long to remove Tolashe when it was quite clear she was unsuitable was trying to pander to the Women's League. Having removed their guy, so to speak, he then had to replace Tolashe with another one of their guys. Except, how do you remove someone for lying and replace them with somebody who was removed earlier for lying? There's yet another example. When Floyd Shivambu was in hot water within the Mkhonto weSizwe party, what was it for? Remind me, someone? Was it because he went to go visit the fugitive Bushiri in Malawi? What was the leader of the MKP doing these last few days? Visiting fugitive AJ Gupta in India? Again, I ask you, do politicians take us seriously?
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Pay up or else. The U.S. Supreme Court has declined, without comment really, to even hear the case brought by President Donald Trump. This is against a $5 million sexual abuse verdict in favor of the author E. Jean Carroll. She had, of course, made claims that Trump had abused her in a department store dressing room in the 1990s. She also sued him for defaming her because he called her claims a hoax and a lie. And the court essentially says, look, there's nothing for us to even get involved in here. Trump has to pay the money. So that's $5 million already awarded in favor of E. Jean Carroll. There's another separate case, a defamation case, in which a jury awarded her $83 million, and it remains to be seen whether or not he is going to pay that. And then sad news. Acclaimed Hollywood actor Danny Glover, a longtime supporter of the anti-apartheid struggle, no less, has revealed that he's been living with Alzheimer's disease for several years. The 79-year-old, you'll know him, of course, for performances in The Color Purple, the Lethal Weapon films, disclosed in a recent interview that he was diagnosed shortly before receiving the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award in 2022. He says the disease has over time slowed down his memory, but he says he can live with it, but he does know things are going to change.
I've been diagnosed for Alzheimer's. Well, I could live with it in a sense. I'm sure as it advances, things are going to be different and changing. There's a great deal is talking to young people and their responsibility.
You've got a lot to say.
It was, well, a lot to learn as well. I've been
7:02. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN.
Big interview with the tax man coming up. In the meantime, at 14 after 7, this EWN traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got roadworks on the N3 North. This is between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road. About a 20-minute hold up there. Please try to avoid. You can still use the N17 as well as the N12 West towards the city of Joburg to try and avoid this backlog. While traveling on the Mike 1 North, bumper-to-bumper traffic between Boyson's Road and the Empire Road exit. That's due to peak time delays as well as an accident there. There's also queuing traffic reported on the M2 West just as you approach the Crown Interchange. We'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
45 minutes watching your favorite team play goes by, well, quite quickly. But 45 minutes stuck in traffic, unless you're listening to 702, it does feel like a lifetime, doesn't it? Well, thankfully, the Outsurance pointsmen are here to save the day. These heroes in green and purple ease traffic congestion and have been doing so for 20 years. The Outsurance Postman helping everyone get to where they need to be quickly and safely. And it's just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
16 after 7. It's a familiar ritual, is it not, this time of the year? Many South Africans, of course, dusting document folders, recovering passwords, frantically double-checking bank account details, inboxes refreshed in anticipation of that message from the South African Revenue Service. Tax season officially got underway yesterday, and SARS is expecting to issue more than 6 million auto assessments from the first 12 days of this month. For some, of course, we hope a welcome tax refund. Others, you may need to pay in. But for many, the big question is, do I need to do anything at all? This is the period, of course, when taxpayers declare their income so SARS can review, calculate, and finalize tax affairs. Many salaried employees do receive the auto assessments. Those with additional income, freelance work, businesses, and other earnings may still need to submit a tax return. They say death and taxes are certain. We can't speak to the Grim Reaper, but we can speak to the taxman. Dr. Johnston Makubu is the freshly minted Commissioner of the South African Revenue Service and joins us now. Commissioner, a very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Good morning to you, Bongani, and to your listeners. Thank you for having us this morning.
All right, as 2026 tax season gets underway, I suppose broadly speaking, what's your overall message to taxpayers?
The overall message, Bongani, is that we are indeed, as you said in your intro, we are taking away the burden of having to comply for 6 million taxpayers that we will be taking through auto assessment. So the key message is to those 6 million taxpayers, they don't have to do anything. They'll get a message from SARS. Until they get that message, they don't have to do anything. They don't have to go to any of our service centers. They don't have to contact our voice channel. We will communicate with them between now and the 12th. I'm pushing very much that communication happens still this week with the majority of these taxpayers. So the message is to those taxpayers, 6 million of them, that they don't have to do anything. They'll just be served utilizing the third-party data that we have collected from multiple providers of that data. We are also saying in this time of the year that we are warning against the multiple phishing scams and other types of scams that we do experience around this time. And we are cautioning taxpayers to be vigilant around emails they get and to know that SARS will never ask for their banking details, credit card details at all. And therefore, such requests should be treated with the caution that they deserve.
Commissioner, what kind of emails or even SMSs are people receiving that they should be suspicious of?
People are getting, Bongani, SMSs that talk to refunds, that there's a refund that you have, you need to press this particular link and load your details to be able to action that refund. And of course, we know that in the back end, the scammers would be capturing that information for their purposes that are nefarious. So mostly because the scammers know that around this time there is this anxiety around refunds. They're utilizing mainly refunds. We've also seen, because we've driven a debt collection campaign this last financial year and this year, that they're also getting emails that relate to debt. And unfortunately, most South Africans are quite fearful whenever they get a note from the tax administration around debt that they owe. And they would want to click links that are in these messages, and in so doing, inadvertently put themselves in harm's way. So it's mostly refunds and debt, and there's some link that requires you to put in your personal details, and we are cautioning against those.
How would you describe the current level of tax compliance in South Africa?
Look, Bongani, I think we are not where we should be. I think by auto-assessing 6 million taxpayers, you are indirectly putting them into a compliant bucket because you're using this large data and these algorithms to make sure that their tax matters are sorted out for them. Of course, they need to still ensure that that auto assessment is just reviewed to make sure that the information that is there is accurate. But for that 6 million, you are pushing taxpayers that otherwise would be non-compliant into compliance. We find that for those that are provisional taxpayers, the level of compliance is quite low, and that's where our concern is. So mostly of these that are self-employed, that earn other types of income, that's where the levels of non-compliance is high. And we've got programs in our compliance program to deal specifically with that type of non-compliance, Bongani.
You say, of course, you've got third-party data. I would imagine then this is where employers, banks, medical schemes, even retirement funds might come into the conversation.
Indeed. So we get about we've got about 13 petabytes of data that we utilize. It's quite a sizable volume of data. And as I said earlier, this data becomes quite crucial in making sure that the auto assessments that we do are largely compliant. And that's why, Bongani, we've seen around 98% acceptance of our auto assessment. As of this morning, we had already issued 1.9 million of the 6 million auto assessments and have paid around 6.5 billion as of this morning. So we know that this data enables us to give a seamless experience to those taxpayers, but more so, it allows us to be able to do this with the highest degree of accuracy. And as we continue to refine our systems, we are finding that utilizing this data becomes an enabler of compliance, but also ensures accuracy of these auto assessments that we do. But again, the challenge that we still face is that not all employers, not all third-party data providers, not all medical aid schemes provide us the data on time. And that's why we are utilizing the 1st to the 12th of July to make sure that we still give some opportunity for those that need to correct their data in the second week of those 12 days to still do so. And therefore, we will not be able to finish all the auto assessments in the first week, just to allow a bit of time for those third-party data providers to still come in towards the last end so that we can give a little bit more taxpayers that experience that is seamless.
And if a refund is due, how soon after accepting the auto assessment can a taxpayer expect to be paid?
Bongani, we've said in the public domain that our commitment is to ensure that the payment is done within 72 hours. Of course, this means that your banking details are correct. You'll recall that as early as the 1st of April, we've been urging taxpayers to come through our digital channels to update and confirm their banking details, especially where they've changed banking details. We find South Africans change banking details quite often. So unless there is issues of banking details that require update and or previous returns that are outstanding that need to be corrected, we should be able within 72 hours to make those payments. And I'm glad to say that in the past, around 98% of all refunds were paid within that 72 hours. So I'm comfortable that we should be able to do that.
I mean, a part of this, Commissioner, is an education conversation, if you will. How is it that some people typically receive refunds, whereas others find themselves owing?
So you would recall that this filing season is simply a recon process. We are reconning your monthly contributions that you make every month, and we are doing a recon during this filing season. What would happen in some instances, you'd find that some employers under-deduct, and where they've under-deducted, you would ultimately, during this filing season, find yourself having to pay in because your statutory rate would have been higher than what was deducted, and that's when you find yourself in debt. In some instances, employers over-deduct during the month from the 1st of March through to the 28th of February in that period. Where they've over-deducted, it then allows for the person to find themselves in a refund position. But also, there are some other incomes that we may not be aware of that people need to declare. And as there is additional income, whether you're a gig worker or session worker, that means that that additional income then puts you in a position where you need to declare it. And when you declare it, they put you in a position where you've got a debt. Yeah.
Commissioner, what are some things that people not quite forget to declare, but perhaps misunderstand in terms of how SARS regards that income as additional and obviously something you need to know about? What are the common pitfalls that people make or mistake?
Sure. So the first one we see in the main is rental income, Bongani. So people are getting rental income and they don't declare that rental income. And therefore, they are seen to be under-declaring to the taxman. Sometimes this is just out of pure ignorance, but sometimes we think it's willful non-compliance. We're finding a lot of people, especially in our townships, that are now raising these rental flats, and they don't declare that income to the tax administration, and that makes them, unfortunately, non-compliant. And with third-party data, we are able to pick this up. The other area is travel allowance that we see not being correctly declared, logbooks not being kept. People are also trading in crypto, Bongani, as income. You would see that in the update of the wizard to this year, we have clearly said these are examples of income, and crypto is included there as another form of income that people generally do not want to declare or are not informed or educated around declaring that. And that's an area that is increasingly becoming a challenge because even illicit financial flows are peddled utilizing digital assets, including crypto assets. And therefore, we see that as an area that continues to be a challenge for us. But those in the main are the areas that we need to start to focus on, and we urge taxpayers to be truthful when they declare in this regard.
Your warning to those who are not compliant, Commissioner?
The warning is come forward, be truthful. SARS is likely to have all the information about you. And therefore, if you don't come forward to declare, SARS will ultimately find you, and there will be penalties. There will be interest that will be due. And when we do find you, and the penalties can be up to 200% if we feel that you've evaded willfully. And therefore, we caution those that are continuing to be non-compliant that we are living in the digital age and data is currency, and we have the data, and increasingly we're using it to penalize those that are not compliant. So the message is be compliant. If you've not been compliant, we've got voluntary disclosure programs. You can come in and yourself and voluntarily disclose, and SARS will be able to assist you.
Your target this year?
The target, we are in a filing season. We have to pay around 43 billion rands between now and the end of January when the filing season closes. But I'm sure you are referring to the estimate that the minister gave us. It's 2.13 trillion, Bongani. And I'm quite comfortable as I come in that we are pushing hard to get towards the 2.13 trillion.
I've got a new payoff line for SARS, Dr. Makubu. Show me the money. Appreciate your time. Dr. Johnston Makubu there, the Commissioner of the South African Revenue Service.
EWN Business.
Talking of data, Muteo Haripe Business News now. New vehicle sales are showing strong growth. This is despite the tight economy.
Yeah, South Africa's new vehicle market remained strong in June, even as consumers face rising fuel prices, higher inflation, and economic uncertainty. A total of 54,482 vehicles were sold during the month, the best June sales performance since 2007. So even in a tight economy, South Africans love themselves some new wheels.
We are buying cars.
Yes, we are buying cars. This is a 15.3% higher than the June of 2025, highlighting a continued demand for vehicles despite tough economic conditions. Passenger cars led the sales front, up 18%, while bakkies and minibuses were up 8.4%. Sales of heavy trucks and buses also grew by 15.9%. Now, while the local market performed quite well when it comes to sales on the shop floor. Vehicle exports are declined by 6.9% compared to the same period last year as global trading conditions remained challenging.
All right, give me your indicators.
Well, looking at the rand at this morning, punching above its weight, 16 rand 38 against the US dollar, 18 rand 66 against the euro, 21 rand 76 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,057 an ounce, while platinum is up 2% at $1,613. Brent crude now at $70 a barrel. More business after 8.
Time now for the latest eyewitness news brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 Rand. And it's touchdowns, Fiso.
That's right. Bongani Bingwa have finally landed at OR Tambo International Airport this morning. Hundreds of fans woke up early and braced the cold to welcome the team to show their support after an historic FIFA World Cup campaign. Bafana progressed to the tournament's group stages for the first time before being knocked out by co-host Canada. EWN sports anchor Tolagele Mganga spoke to some fans at the airport.
Mama Joy, welcome back to South Africa. How was the World Cup? I was there to cherish my team. Bafana, they've done well. I am so happy because we managed to go to the last 32.
The team will hold a press briefing and will bring you all the details as soon as they come. In other news, Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber says he expects the number of undocumented migrants being deported or repatriated to increase in the coming days. Thousands have already left South Africa due to growing fears for their safety as demonstrations against illegal immigration continue in some parts of the country. Government has established a temporary repatriation centre in Musina in Limpopo, where immigration officials are giving the papers that would allow people to cross the Bide Bridge border. Schreiber emphasises he expects many more people to be processed.
Yes, I don't want to give you a full final number because we're still busy reconciling all of the data we have. What I do know is out of eThekwini, there were over 30,000 people that were processed by Home Affairs. But that doesn't take into account people from Cape Town, Joburg, many other locations, and of course the ones that are currently here in Musina.
Meanwhile, despite not recording the largest turnout during the anti-illegal immigration marches, the Western Cape has recorded the highest number of arrests linked to the demonstrations. Acting National Commissioner Puleng Dimpane addressed a media briefing yesterday on the security response to this week's activities. Dimpane says the Western Cape accounts for the highest number of arrests among the more than 900 people who were arrested nationwide.
Some were arrested for public violence, some for harboring illegal immigrants in terms of Immigration Act, some for business robbery at spaza shops, and so on and so forth. The Western Cape recorded a total of 215 arrests for various crimes, including public violence and contravention of Immigration Act.
And South Africa is set to play a central role in Google Africa's next phase of digital expansion. The tech giant has announced major investments in connectivity, AI, and skills development. At the inaugural Africa Cloud Summit held in Johannesburg, Google announced it has also already exceeded its 5-year target of investing $1 billion across the continent. Anelita Fandese reports.
Google has unveiled new projects, and among these is a new connectivity hub to be built in the Eastern Cape, the first of 4 planned hubs across the continent. Google also says they will invest 3 million rand in a digital innovation center in Soweto aimed at expanding access to technology skills and entrepreneurship opportunities. The tech giant is also backing the country's startups, with 15 local firms set to join Google's accelerator program as part of a broader commitment to support 50 African ventures by 2028. For South Africa, their investment could further cement its role as a regional technology hub and gateway to the continent's digital economy. Anelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 9 and 10 degrees, peaking at highs between 15 and 18 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in Paulsof along Witkappen Road approaching Rivonia Road. That's due to roadworks. The more roadworks are causing delays along Pretoria Main Road. This is between Allendale Road and the Buccleuch Bridge. While heading towards Bedford View, do expect bumper-to-bumper traffic along the N3 North. That's between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road.
The top story this hour, Bafana have finally landed at OR Tambo International Airport.
With the price of everything going up, a drop in your car insurance premium is just what you need to have extra money in your pocket. So switch to Outsurance and you could save big, like 50-year-old Yaku, who saves an amazing 282 Rand a month on his 2025 Suzuki Swift. Don't pay more than you need to. Get an Outsurance quote to switch and save today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
It's the tournament everyone is talking about. And the conversation is right here on 702 K-Talk and EWN.co.za.
Hi, this is Teko Modise, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Be a winner who knows when it's time for a timeout and play responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No person under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
When you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Nedbank is more than just a bank. We're a growth partner because we understand that real success happens when you're looking ahead, spotting opportunities others miss, and planning for tomorrow, today. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongani and the team. Regarding your question, if the leaders are taking us seriously, I feel like they don't. But with Cyril, I feel like he's doing what they want. I think when he began, like this time with the gun, there was a clip of him somewhere, voice note that was doing the round, saying that his main focus is to make sure that the ANC is okay, and he's doing just that. He's doing just that, and yeah, the renewal thing is just a scam. And I don't think people even are buying it anymore. And when it comes to Tolin Leon, Pumzile Fandam also, she has been at pains to explain that she was also faced with the same situation, but luckily she was strong enough to stand her ground. And then Helen Zilla and then I forgot the other person in the DA, they stood with her. So it seems like Tolin Leon has been doing this now for long. So, yeah.
Morning, Bongani and team. No, our politicians don't take us seriously, majorly because us as South Africans don't also take our politics seriously. So they're not going to take us seriously because we've just left our politics to them. We always think democracy is a spectator sport. So we just let them play and we are spectators and cheering. So no, they don't take us seriously because we don't take ourselves seriously. We don't take our country seriously. This is Vuyo from Boksburg. Thank you. Bye.
Vuyo from Boksburg. I mean, there's a piece on News 24, and I really think it's worth quite a read. It's written by Soyiso Maliti and Norman Masungwini, and they essentially look at the various ministers of social development. What is it about that department? Sisisi Tolashe, of course, front of mind, right, with her undeclared gifts that she gave to her children. Dina Pule, now the new minister, who previously wined and dined her lover at government's expense and denied it. And then, of course, remember Batabile Dlamini, she of the Smolanyana skeletons. What did she nearly do to wreck the Department of Social Development? And didn't tell the truth and nothing but the truth? What is it about this department that seems, I don't know, do people put liar on their CV before they get appointed to become Minister of Social Development? Is that part, or are those the KPIs you then have to meet once you are appointed? In other words, you are a truth teller until you become the minister. How does it go, do you think? And if, as that one voice note suggests, the president is trying to take care of the ANC by doing this, I'm not quite sure he's winning.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. A chance for you to win up to 3 1,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Let's get today's answer from Sanele. Sanele, what's today's answer, please?
The answer is 5 bongs.
The answer is 5. Ooh, that's a bit of a tricky one. Tell me, Sanele, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
I sure did.
You biscuit. 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance. And 702, thank you, Sanele, for that answer. 5 is what he says. What could the question be that could lead to 5 as an answer? If you want 2,000 Rand and you know, call us now on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
All right, the day is here. Anthony Teixeira, of course, in for Cindy Paluta. We've been talking about the other World Cup, but let's talk about the one we're still in. Anthony Teixeira,
yeah, good
it's all to play for.
Listen, Bongani, it's going to be a tough one for the Proteas women today. They come up against the T20 World Cup hosts England in that semi-final, as well as receiving confirmation that Naf Skever-Brunt has returned from a calf injury and is fit to face the South Africans. Here's Proteas captain Laura Wolfhard.
I know it'll be a pretty sold-out crowd supporting the opposition, so it'll be a nice challenge for us. But yeah, getting to play the hosts in a tournament is always pretty exciting. They'll have a bit more pressure on them with all of that support, so hopefully we can put together a good game of cricket.
Switching to football now, where Spurs continue to rebuild their narrowly avoiding a Premier League relegation last season. After agreeing to a deal with West Ham for Matheus Fernandes, they've now reportedly set to break their transfer record once again after agreeing a deal with £100 million for Sandro Tonali from Newcastle. And in tennis, no major upsets at Wimbledon. Selected second-round winners include João Fonseca, Daniil Medvedev, Iva Jovic, Jessica Pegula, both the men's and women's world number ones Sinner and Sabalenka, as well as Novak Djokovic.
The EWN World Cup Desk. The latest scores, the biggest stories, and the moments everyone's talking about.
Well, there were some tough results for African sides so far at the FIFA World Cup round of 32. Only Morocco have advanced to the last 16 so far. Senegal had a 2-goal lead over Belgium heading into the closing 10 minutes. However, some lax defending saw them give up that lead and send the match through to added extra time. The Europeans awarded a controversial penalty late on, which was converted at 124 minutes and 44 seconds on the clock. Yuri Tielemans now with the latest goal ever recorded in knockout history there. Senegalese fullback Crepin Diatta believes that they lost control of that encounter much earlier in the second half in actual fact.
We missed the control of the game, and this should not happen because you have to be strong. You have to know that things will be hard, but in this moment you have to give everything. You have to defend your box, like I said. You have to be the boss of your box. We suffer, but we let our chance go on, and at the end we lost the game, and it's pity.
It was just as heartbreaking for Dio Congo, who led England from the 7th minute for over an hour. That was until English captain Harry Kane put on a masterclass with a spectacular late brace. Here's English manager Thomas Tuchel.
I'm not sure if it was such a roller coaster. I mean, we conceded early. It was not an up and down and up and down. We conceded very early, which made things more complicated than they were already. So very difficult from then. I think we didn't get our press right in the first 15-20 minutes. We were a bit like over-invested in our press. They found excellently the wall passes and the open spaces to accelerate the game.
Well, the other results overnight saw co-host USA pick up a 2-0 victory over Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Americans down to 10 for the closing half hour after their striker Florian Balogun was sent off for serious foul play. The knockouts continue today with 2010 winners and the current European champs Spain up against Austria at 9 p.m. Then Portugal meet Croatia and Switzerland face one of the 4 remaining African nations, Algeria. Meanwhile, Bafana Bafana have received a warm welcome from South Africans at the OR Tambo International Airport upon their return from the World Cup. The official press conference is set to take place later today after dignitaries welcome at the Piazza. Former Bafana captain Tulani Hlatshwayo hopes that Coach Hugo Bruce will remain part of that setup.
I think it's got to his guys, he believe in himself. I think he has changed the team, how it was structured before. and you see the fans, around South Africa, they fell in love again with Bafana Bafana. So, and for me personally, I hope he stays, for continuity.
Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
From kickoff to the final whistle, this is the EWN World Cup Desk.
Smart business decisions save money. Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's JC from Blonde Hair Studio.
I was with my previous insurer for many years before switching over to Outsurance Business Insurance. I'm really happy with the premium I'm paying now, and switching was definitely one of the best decisions for my business.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
The CSIR International Convention Center has over 40 years of experience in hosting international, local and national business events. So this purpose-built venue is set on a tranquil campus in Pretoria East in the knowledge hub and service diplomacy capital, the city of Tshwane. Host your next business event at a venue where innovation meets experience. Visit csiricc.co.za for more information. The CSIR International Convention Center, where smart minds meet.
Ready to go?
No, can't.
Your mother raised you. She can look after him for one day.
But he's just a baby.
He's 7.
Just a baby.
I've packed his favorite toy and blanket.
Okay, just grab his Hills food.
Always.
We know that you only want the best for your small dog, which is why Hills has developed expert, science-backed nutrition to meet the unique needs of small dogs and help them live their best lives across their longer lifespans. Hills Pet Nutrition. Science does more.
EWN Traffic.
13 to 8, let's catch up with the roads. There are delays in the capital. Pretty typical, actually, for this time of the day. Amo?
Yeah, that's correct, Bongani, particularly if you're heading towards the CBD via the R80 East Mabopane Highway, queuing traffic between Bremer and Skiampatlele Drive. There's also slow-moving traffic along the N1 South. Earlier on, we had roadworks taking place along this route right after Sefakoma Khato, but they've been cleared. Traffic remains a bit slow, though. And then if you're traveling along the N14 East Centurion out of the R55, do expect a slight backup as well. Traveling in Kelvin, we've got an accident reported on the N3 South. It happened right near Vincent Chabalala Road. It is causing delays. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic along the N12 and the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange. About a 20-minute hold up there. So please be patient if you find yourself along this traffic hold up. We'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. Please tell me, what's the question? If the answer is FAF. Let's go to Pogela. Pogela, what's the question?
The question is, how many chart-topping singles did Michael Jackson's Bad album have, which included the song Dirty Diana that topped the charts on this day in 1988?
Pogela, you've covered everything. All your T's crossed, all your I's dotted. Congratulations, my friend. 2,000 Rand is coming your way. All thanks to Outsurance and 702.
Thank you.
For once in my life, it's gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A son's disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the window, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his treat you right. Just show your face, broad daylight. I'm telling you.
Oh man, those are some of those 5 hits. We don't have time to play all of them. Man in the Mirror, of course. Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel. Dirty Diana. All of those songs making it to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 as part of Michael Jackson's comeback album after Thriller. Those are the times.
Outsurance can't improve your couch coaching skills. But they could improve the car insurance premium you currently pay. SMS out to 45142. Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't save you money on your car insurance premium, ask for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get a quote and get savings or cash. Either way, you win. SMS out to 45142. When it comes to car insurance, you couldn't be in better hands. Outsurance was voted News 24 Short-Term Insurer of the Year for 4 years in a row. Built to Reader's Choice Best Insurer 4 years in a row. And City Press Reader's Choice Best Insurer Award 3 years in a row. Clearly, they all feel they're getting something out. SMS right now to see if you can switch and save. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Some of the biggest advances in health are happening right here in South Africa. Local researchers are studying a promising new TB vaccine candidate called M72, one that could help stop people from getting seriously ill. And programs like Coach Mpilo are helping men living with HIV overcome stigma, start treatment and stay on it. It's South African science, innovation and community leadership helping shape the future of global health. And it's supported by the Gates Foundation over the last 25 years. Partners of human potential.
Winter has entered the chat, and honestly, nobody wants that. Cold tiles, foggy windows, that one room nobody wants to sit in, and a dog who is pretty sure this is somehow your fault. Luckily, Chamberlain's winter savings are here from 18 June to 12 July. Warm up your home with great deals on heaters, firewood, anthracite, geyser blankets, insulation, paint, and more. Plus, stock up on Jog dog food for only 398 Rand. Because they might not like winter, but they'll love that. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
For over 120 years, Shell has been woven into the vibrant fabric of Mzansi, fueling your engines and your dreams, powering your journeys and your potential. We believe progress is measured in the opportunities we create, the smiles we inspire, and the lives we continue to touch. We are more than just energy. For the everyday difference in people's lives, you can always count on Shell.
702
702. What's gone viral?
with Kabazela.
And now for the world of viral content, Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bella.
An unexpected act of kindness.
Yeah, this is a really, really beautiful video to watch. And, you know, if you think about it, Bongles, when there's acts of kindness, the person who has given the act of kindness won't go home and speak to the family and say, do you know what I did today? Because, you know, it's just a random act of kindness that they've done. But if you are on the receiving end of that act of kindness, you will go home and say, you won't believe what a stranger did for me today. And then you'll tell the story. So this encounter took place, it was captured on one of those door cameras, right? And this woman had lost her husband, and her friends, you know, a couple of days after his passing, had sent flowers over. So the delivery man rocks up at her door, and she opens the door, and he sees automatically that, you know, she's in grief. And he starts speaking to her. He gives her a big embrace, and he's so tender and gentle with her. And, you know, days or weeks later, she posted the video online and said, this was such a beautiful moment. He really just made me, you know, he held me and he made me feel comforted at a time of loss. And this man needs to be protected at all costs. And, you know, it's had a really, really beautiful response. And people have, you know, said they must start a GoFundMe page and all this kind of stuff for this old man. So really, really beautiful to see. So let's put it out there this morning. Have you got a story of just a beautiful random act of kindness that a complete stranger did for you, and you went home that evening or that day and you told your family about it, and you've never forgotten it? What was that story for you?
A random act of kindness that you've never forgotten. Do let us know via WhatsApp on 072 702 1702. And Kabazela, have you been in those scenarios where something is happening around you, even close to you, and you have no idea?
And you know what happens generally when that happens? Is people are on their phones.
You know where I've seen it happen?
Yeah.
I've seen it on the roads.
Yes.
Where you're driving and, you come up next to a car and you can see the driver of the other vehicle has no idea you're even there.
Yeah. It happens
hoot.
all the time.
And they jump. And 9 out of 10 times it's because they've been on the phone.
Yeah. Situational awareness. How aware are you of the situations that take place around you? So there's this couple. They are chilling at the poolside at a resort on these lounger chairs, drinks on either side, reading a book. One's on the phone, and the next minute, this massive baboon walks up and sits on the side, and he's there. He's just chilling, and none of them realize that this baboon is sitting there watching them and wanting to grab some of the food that they've got there. And then eventually the woman
does. I think it actually starts.
It does.
Yeah.
It does grab. Yeah. And eventually the woman notices, but she's quite cool, calm. She doesn't do anything. And then the next minute coming out, running from the building is one of the hotel staff to chase this baboon. Oh, and it runs around and he chases it. And a really, really funny scene, to see. So, situational awareness. How aware are you? And has something happened around you? And then others say, did you see that? What just happened? And you're like, I saw nothing. because
you weren't
aware of what was happening around you. Yes.
Yeah. Did you see that? We all ate dinner, hey?
No, man.
That's what's gone viral with Kabaze.
702. Feedback with Baphelile Sambo.
Baphelile Sambo, who loves her phone. I'm sure it happens to you all the
I do.
time.
I was just on my phone right now.
It happens to you all the time?
All the time. I cannot help it, Bongani. Our work is on our phones.
You miss the sunshine?
Sometimes.
The sunset?
Sometimes.
The sunrise?
Sometimes. All the time, maybe.
You miss Christmas?
Sometimes.
You're on your phone.
Lots of feedback, Bongani, coming this morning on our question of how important is human interaction when you visit a place or you get a service. The response has been very, very clear from 702 lenders. They still want people to assist them. Lerato actually shared a frustrating experience that happened just yesterday. She was booking a flight from Cape Town to Johannesburg. She called the travel agency for help only to be met by an automated system. And she said it went on for so long until a human being came and then the situation was then solved after holding on for the phone for such a long time. And she's like, no robots for things like that require
They will get
immediate.
better. They will get better.
I hope so, Bongani. And
I mean, imagine if producers were robots. Eh?
No, it's not going to work. Especially for
I'm ready-
you.
I'm ready for
No,
a-
not for you. But before we quickly go to the news, Bongani, I just want to remind our 702 lenders of our Whiz Quiz winner. They've been asking to hear a little bit of that moment.
yes.
For those who've missed it,
Yes.
here is Bonolo.
The 21st century.
Correct. Spell the word invented.
INVENTED.
Banana. You can go to primemediaplus.com if you've got a bright snapper in your family. It must be age 10 to 13. Enter, and who knows, they could win 10,000 Rand. Baphelile, you are
And
so
we
bright.
are-
You would have won.
I would have. Those questions were a little bit tough, but we are so proud of Bonolo because, like a name, they were easy for her.
Indeed.
This is EWN.
Another bus accident claims lives in the country, and South Africans have woken up early to welcome Bafana Bafana home. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. We start in the Western Cape, where 15 people have died in a bus crash. 73 passengers were on board when the bus overturned in the early hours on the N1 near Toes River. 2 people have sustained injuries. Self-proclaimed informer and businessman Tumelo Nku will return to the Madlanga Commission today to continue with his testimony. Nku's testimony was postponed on Monday for him to prepare a supplementary affidavit. He has been questioned about his involvement and knowledge of the 300 million rand 2021 Ariton drug bust. Khomoso Modise has more.
When Tumelo Nku returned to the witness stand on Monday, he told the commission that he'd spoken to a spiritual leader who told him to return to the commission and the Lord would take care of the rest. But even after that, the commission said nothing had changed from his initial day of testimony, with Chair Mbuyiseli Madlanga saying the idea was that Nku would come clean, but that was not the case. This morning, Nku will testify on his supplementary affidavit after saying he made his initial testimony out of fear. Previously, Nku claimed to be a police source who tipped Gauteng police about the truck transporting cocaine from Durban to Johannesburg. He's expected to continue with this theme in his testimony this morning. Khomoso Modise, Eyewitness News.
Action SA has slammed new cabinet appointments, saying promoting the ANC's Dina Pule to Social Development Minister is scrapping the bottom of the barrel. Pule is the only change made to the ANC's cabinet deployees to replace former Minister Sisi Sitolashe after serving as Parliament's committee chairperson on agriculture. But Action SA says the reshuffle is just another example of a government of national unity that is out of ideas while clinging to a bloated executive of 75 ministers and deputies. Lindsay Dentlinker has more.
Yesterday's cabinet reshuffle was brought on by DA leader Jordan Hill-Lewis, who for the first time since assuming the role asked President Cyril Ramaphosa to make several changes to the party's executive structure in government. But Action SA says moving former leader and agriculture minister John Steenhuisen to a deputy minister's portfolio is indefensible. Action SA believes he mishandled the foot and mouth crisis and should have been dismissed. Earlier this week, Hill-Lewis defended the shift in Steenhuisen's portfolio.
John is going to be a great Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry. He's passionate about trade issues. His biggest legacy at agriculture is that he did really well in opening up trade access.
Meanwhile, Action SA says Steenhuisen's replacement at agriculture, Willie Okamp, is also uninspiring, following his short tenure at forestry, fisheries and the environment, where his association with the captive lion and breeding industry has been called into question. Action SA continues to advocate for the abolishment of deputy ministers through a private members' bill tabled in Parliament. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And Bafana Bafana have been welcomed by cheering fans and dignitaries at OR Tambo International Airport as they landed just a short while ago. Supporters are happy with the team for making history at the FIFA World Cup by reaching the round of 32 stage. Bafana Bafana returned to the country after losing to Canada at the tournament. Tolagele Mganga has more from the airport.
Hundreds of fans braved the cold to welcome back Bafana Bafana here at the OR Tambo International Airport, following a historic campaign that saw them progress past the group stages at the fourth time of asking. After more than an hour wait for the team to walk through the doors, the 25-man squad was treated to loud cheers and a brass band as they returned home after 4 weeks away. They'll now be presented on stage to fans with the likes of Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lusufi and Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie welcoming them back. Coach Hugo Bruch and Captain Ronan Williams will also speak to the media as they reflect on Bafana Bafana's first World Cup appearance since hosting the tournament in 2010. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News, OR Tambo International Airport, Kempton Park.
Gold is trading at $4,063.97 an ounce. The rand is at 16.39 to the dollar, 21.79 to the pound, 18.66 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $70.86 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in Linbro Park. It's along the N3 South that happened near Vincent Chabalala Road. It's causing heavy delays. As a result, the N3 North is also backed up due to onlookers.
And in your sport, Women's T20 World Cup semi-final showdown for the Proteas women and England this evening. Spurs agreed to a record £100 million deal for Sandro Tonali. And we have the latest from the FIFA World Cup round of 32 results.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg is at a low of 9 and 7 degrees, peaking at highs between 13 and 18. The top story in EWN this hour: 15 people have died in a bus crash in the Western Cape on the N1 near Toes River.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Six minutes after 8 o'clock. The big story, of course, politically at the moment, or certainly one of the big ones, is the appointment of the ANC's Dinapule to become Social Development Minister. If you can, go check out this article on News 24. And essentially what they're asking, Mateo, is what is it about the Social Development Department that makes ministers liars? I mean, the article doesn't say that. That's my interpretation. Do you have to be a liar before you are appointed? Or does the job make you one? Because remember, Sisisi Tolashe, remember she who received gifts and gave them to her children and then lied about it? Remember her? She's now been replaced by Dinapule, who had previously been found to have lied to Parliament. Remember Batabile Dlamini? Did she always tell the truth? Nothing but the whole truth? Or do you say, hang on, the president was caught between a rock and a hard place?
How so?
Because this is a portfolio that has typically gone to someone from the Women's League. So, the person they've just kicked out was the president of the Women's League. The deputy president of the Women's League died last year. The treasurer general of the Women's League is already a premier. The Secretary General is an office functionary, so they have to work for the league. Next in line was the Deputy Secretary General, Dinapule.
But the fact that it's designated for the ANC Women's League is the problem.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Think about it. He's got to think about succession. That'll certainly be something that will be on the president's mind. He wants to make sure that there is no block within the ANC that he upsets, such that the wrong successor is chosen, right? And it's important to choose a successor if you've got, unexplained cash that is sometimes found in your couch. And the irony, of course, is even if this is what the Women's League wanted, this is actually damaging more broadly to the ANC. And he'll be long gone and he'll say to them, well, I gave you guys what you wanted. But as voters, we look at it all and say, renewal? Was there ever any renewal? Bafana have touched down at OR International Airport. Is it a bit much to go and receive them in the way that they did, a whole press conference, the minister's there? Or do you say, hang on. They did something no other Bafana team has ever done before. They got into the second round. In South Korea, that team was booed when they arrived at Seoul. I don't think the German team is going to receive a very warm welcome when they land. Neither will the Dutch team. As awesome, and I'm really going to get into trouble for saying this, but as wonderful as it is that Bafana got to the second round, is the bar a little low? I mean, now we can say it, right? Yes, we were all rooting for them and we wanted them to do well, but is the bar in terms of what we expect? Imagine if the Box made it to the second round of a competition and we were all there at the airport.
You can't even compare.
Apples and oranges?
Rugby has
See, I told you I'd get into trouble.
Okay, I mean, the World Cup has how many teams that are right up there?
48 now? Yeah?
Yeah, but I'm saying the top 20 teams could win the World Cup.
Yeah.
With rugby, it's just 6.
So, all's fair in love and war?
You can't even compare. No, we went there with the target of getting to the next round. Didn't go there with the target of winning the World Cup.
So this is exactly the right response.
Yeah, we achieved what we were there to achieve.
The bar isn't too low.
All of a sudden, we're expecting to win the World Cup?
No, but...
guys.
No.
No.
The bar from the get-go wasn't too low.
Germany, yes, will be upset with this campaign because they've won it before. They've tasted that type of victory.
All right, Tembile, you're in Centurion. Your thoughts?
Exactly, Bongani, what he's saying now. I mean, we put our... I mean, why would we expect not to win the World Cup when we go there? The mentality, it's African mentality. I will start. How do we scramble a 2-0 lead? Yesterday's game, on the 80th minute, the score was still, the score was still 2-0. Remember what I said, Bongani, 2 weeks ago? You asked me about Bafana. I said we need to be clinical, discipline and being clinical. In that game of DRC was leading 1-0. Half time, DRC should have been up 3-0. We are not clinical in front of goals. I'll take you way back, Bongani. In 1990 World Cup in Italy, leading 2-1 against England.
Just start again. We lost you for a bit. 1990 World Cup, Italy, yeah?
Yes. Cameroon was leading 2-1. Roger Miller was the man. Guess what? England came back and won the game 3-2. When we had the lead, Bongani, we went into a relaxed mode. What is the discipline and being clinical? And look at the game of Sweden. I'm going to take you back again. Sweden was playing against France. France was leading 2-0. Do you think France sit back? No, they went for more goals. They won the game 3-0. African teams, they lack discipline and also being clinical in front of goals. We always going to, look at now. Bafana came back. We gave them a hero's welcome. For what? They qualified. They did well. Yes, for what? Until we fix this thing of being clinical and being disciplined. We do have the talent. We're supposed to do more.
All right.
We're supposed to do more.
Tembile in Centurion, I think we've got the gist of what you are saying. Stephen, you're in Centurion. Do you disagree with Tembile? Is Tembile wrong on this?
100%, I agree with him. We celebrate mediocre. Look, if we were stopped playing the likes of Germany, though they are out, the likes of England or Argentina, I would say they did their best. But playing the likes of Canada, really, we celebrate that, being stopped by Canada. And then we say we had. No, South Africa, let's stop celebrating these kind of things. That's why we'll never go anywhere. I think, Bob, yes, they tried, but really, the bar is very, very low. And we celebrate that. Thanks, Bongs.
All right, Stephen in Centurion, Mateo, furiously and quite vigorously shaking his head. Are the fans expecting too much?
Yeah, especially from Bafana, way too much. We've just turned it around. We hadn't qualified for this thing in 16 years, and now you want us to go and win it, guys. Come on.
All right, Keletso, you're in Buhle Park in Germiston. People need to relax, eh?
No, I'm just saying, I'm so heartbroken. I was supporting all the African teams, Bafana, Senegal. I'm also supporting Cape Verde. Relaxation and complacency breeds decline. When things are going well for you, it's not a time for you to relax. It's a time for you to push harder. And the coach really cost them the game yesterday because they were leading 2-0. And then they started messing with the winning formula, and that's what went wrong yesterday. So I'm aggrieved, but Cape Verde is still in the running. So let's just hope they'll go far.
Somebody will keep the African flag flying high. Right, it seems from the calls at least we're getting, a lot of 702 landers, Muteo, are not accepting we were always, aiming for the second round, which we achieved, and that's good enough. Not so much for 702 landers,
Bafana that went to the World Cup, it was their first time there. There are no returnees to that World Cup from 4 years ago.
Yeah. How many teams could claim the same?
Not many. A lot of teams came back with experienced campaigners.
Right. Well, Messi, that's why we can say they've got 16 goals and Ronaldo has... all right.
Hey, Bongani, it's Presto from Benoni. I think the round of 32 is a good achievement for Bafana. When you look at the likes of the other teams in the World Cup that's currently there, that's still there. What we achieved is great. There's other African nations that also went out in the round of 32 that have much better sides.
Good morning, Bongs and your team. Yeah, I can agree with you on Bafana, Bongs, because their last game against Canada, they didn't play the way we expected them. They didn't fought on the pitch. I think they got the tactics wrong. But don't forget that last 32 is the first of its kind that happened with Bafana. Mixed reaction as well, but I think they deserve a little bit praise for what they've done. You can't compare them with the rugby situation. Max in Pretoria.
Hey, good morning, Bongos and team. Bongani, no. No.
You cannot expect that from Bafana Bafana. They've done well, and we are happy for them. I was saying I'm happy they went to the next round, but we shouldn't put pressure on them to win the World Cup. No, that's too much pressure. And there was no way they're going to do it. Even if we qualified to the round of 16, the World Cup we were not going to see, at least not this year. At least if we know there's like a strategy that we are working at and it's working. No, Bongani, let them be celebrated.
I was just asking the question. Devil's advocate. Hey? I was just asking the question, Mateo. Don't come for me. Next thing they'll all be saying hashtag Bongani Makaham.
EWN Traffic.
17 after 8, let's catch up with the roads. There's some trouble in Basonia, Amo.
That's correct, Bongani. A big accident right along the N12 West that happened near Klipprivier drivers causing delays from Kamara Street. About a 20-minute hold up there. There's also queuing traffic reported on the N3 North heading towards Bedford View. That's due to roadworks there. And then heading towards the Joburg CBD, do expect heavy traffic volumes on the Mark 1 North between Boysons Road and the double-decker section. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Every small business that dares to disrupt the industry deserves a shot at leveling up. Thanks to Nedbank Business Ignite on 702.
Well, of course, time for this year's Nedbank Business Ignite with 702. We're recognizing and rewarding small businesses solving real problems, entrepreneurs who've lived the issue and built a business from real experience. Challenges being turned into meaningful solutions. There's 200,000 Rand up for grabs. You'll get mentorship, national exposure, and support beyond banking with Simply Biz. As always, Tulima Kubane, the founder and director of Mint Fresh Technology Solutions, is in the studio with us. A very good morning to you, Tuli. Tell us about today's finalist, Level 180.
Good morning, Bongani, and good morning to the listeners. So today's business, Level 180, it's also got an interesting name, and there is a story, but I'll let Martin tell that story. So they're a consultancy focusing on sales, and for every business, sales is your lifeblood.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so training up your sales team is important. Making sure that you have a proper sales strategy is also important. So they assist with that, but they've taken it one step further. You can actually outsource your sales function to them. And for a small business, that is something quite attractive. So, yeah.
Okay, well, Martin Lambetti is the proprietor behind Level 180. Firstly, Martin, congratulations on being a finalist.
Thank you so much. It's just an honor to be here. I feel like I already hit the jackpot. Thank you.
All right, tell us what problem you were trying to solve.
Sure. So we specialize in business-to-business sales. And with the way the economy is going and how people have to be very careful with the money that they spend, sales is getting harder. It's been hard, and it's getting harder, especially if you're a business selling to other businesses.
Yeah. How difficult, though, is it for your sales team that you've trained to know how to sell for another business? I mean, if I think of our sales department here at Prime Media, their blood is Primedian. How would your sales team coming from the outside do as good a job as they can?
That's a terrific question. So we do it in phases. So the first phase of our process when we work with our clients is to help them to meet their ideal clients. And through that process, we don't need to have an in-depth knowledge of their business. We need knowledge a mile wide, inch deep. And then as we learn and grow with the clients and start to solve that process, then we get entrenched in their business and we start taking over more and more of their sales process.
So, I mean, one of the things I would imagine with salespeople, as you know, we can all agree, it's a very difficult job.
Yeah.
Retaining staff must be a challenge.
It is. It's a big challenge. So the way that I've set the business up, us ourselves, we have to make sure that we're competitive, providing a really good value for money service. So what we do in our approach is to get people in young. We go through a rigorous training program with them to teach them how to do sales the right way, because there's so much bad stuff out there.
What is the right way? I mean, 20 years ago, you were lucky to get into the room to do a presentation. You did it. You had your PowerPoint slides.
Yeah.
You signed the deal. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
What's the new way to sell?
Can I just tell you an analogy of the old way, and then I'll tell you the new way?
Go for it.
I love the idea. My brother used to work for a company called Internet Solutions back in the day. I don't know if you remember them.
I do.
They were the first company to provide internet.
In South Africa,
Yeah. And they used to go to their clients. Their clients knew that they needed internet, right? So they used to go to the clients and say, how many bags of internet do you want?
Oh, my goodness.
Because nobody knew what this was, right? And the people were just, I don't know, how many bags do I need? That's the way sales used to be done, right? So in the form of a presentation or whatever the case was. Unfortunately, people are still operating like that. They rock up and do a presentation and hope to get the deal. The new way is all about the client. And it's been this way for a long time. You've got to really you've got to be super curious, and you've got to care deeply for every prospect that you meet. And you can't think about a sale. You got to think about how on earth am I going to find something to do that I can help this client. And that's a lot of hard work. And that's the new way of sales. I say new. It's been that way for some time. We're just not catching up fast enough.
I love it, Tuli. He's not quite giving away the secret sauce.
No, he wants
of
you
the new way.
to contact.
Yeah, absolutely. He's talking around it. No, I
It's
get it,
just
Martin.
about-
Totally get it. I see you. What's next for this business, Tuli?
So with Martin, I think from today onwards, I guess one of the things that he's looking forward to is finding out what comes out of this interview. We're talking about it before we came into the studio, that when people listen to these interviews, they get a lot of inquiries. So I'm hoping that post the interview, there'll be those inquiries.
Oh, I suspect you'll get a few phone calls.
Especially if you're not doing your sales properly, and if you've had a high staff turnover, and you need to make sure that your sales team is properly trained up. So I think Martin will be there.
Is your phone charged, Martin?
It is.
The battery full? Congratulations on making it so far in the Nedbank Business Ignite journey.
The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Pick up with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam, it was nearly a non-celebration for English fans, but goodness me, Mexican fans taking it too far at times, hey?
Yeah, it just feels like maybe it's just numbers in the numbers game. England will have the small duty of trying to play Mexico in Mexico City, where Mexico look just formidable at the moment.
No hands up,
4 games, 4 wins. 8 goals, nothing conceded. Anyway, so England play them at, I think it's 3 a.m. South Africa time on Monday morning. And what we hope is not to see a repeat of the scenes. I mean, obviously from an English perspective, we don't want to see celebrations, but it's what happened in those celebrations after Mexico reached the last 16. And we know that 4 people were killed in the course of 1 million people taking to the streets, mainly around the Angel of Independence monument in downtown Mexico City. Now, we know that a 30-year-old man had an epileptic fit in the course of this, and such was the crowd that people couldn't get to him to help him. But 2 people in their 40s and a woman aged 19 suffocated to death, essentially crushed to death, because of the numbers of people who suddenly were in a very small area, or relatively small area. So the city mayor, Clara Brugada, has expressed her most sincere condolences, but it's just one of those things you just hope maybe it can be controlled a bit better, or controlled in a different way. We don't want to see multiple deaths when people are meant to be happy and enjoying football.
Yeah, indeed. Gosh, that puts a bit of a dampener on things. Let's stay sort of in that part of the world, Adam. Watching some of these miracle escapes following that Venezuela earthquake, or those 2 earthquakes, is quite something.
Yeah, it was after we spoke yesterday that they pulled this 3-year-old boy out alive from some of the rubble in Venezuela from these 2 earthquakes. So there are a dozen international rescue teams, more or less, who are helping the local rescue teams, and indeed just local Venezuelans, dig through the rubble and sometimes just clawing at things with their hands. And it was a Jordanian team that managed to pull this little toddler out, named as Kleber Moran. I haven't heard anything about his parents yet. Let's hope he has parents still. But at least the little lad is alive, and as President Delcy Rodriguez put it, this gives us a source of hope for our people. given the death toll is nearing 2,000 in Venezuela, that it's 10,000 injured, there are tens of thousands unaccounted for, some missing definitely. But here's another number to make us tremble. From NASA satellite imagery, we learn that 59,000 buildings have been destroyed. Houses, apartment blocks, shops, businesses, you name it, 59,000. So after tremors that lasted a few seconds, the rebuilding of Venezuela is going to take many years.
Gosh, what to do with particularly abhorrent historical monuments, Adam?
Yeah, well, we've had that question, haven't we, with statues in the past, and in particular, statues that have celebrated some dubious battle honors, wars, and slavery, or characters associated with slavery. So what to do with the ultimate? Anything to do with Adolf Hitler? There are indeed things around. I think his boyhood home is still there in Austria, but with a plaque outside to remember those who lost their lives in the Holocaust. What about Hitler's bunker? Currently, it's really, it's underground, so there's not a lot to see above ground, but there it is in a patch of wasteland in Berlin. After 90 years, still pretty much intact, when an awful lot of the German capital was torn down by first Soviet forces and then by Germany when it was rebuilding, West Germany rebuilding, and then East Germany ultimately. So there are plans to demolish the bunker and in its place build some flats and offices, which the Berlin Council has officially passed. But there are those who are protectors of history saying it would be absolute madness to demolish this. It shouldn't be a shrine to Hitler. It shouldn't be a gathering point for neo-Nazis. But at the same time, would you be destroying history? Would you be expunging history if you got rid of the bunker? That's the question. I don't think they've yet got an answer in Berlin.
Indeed. Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
To wrap up the morning's business news now, 28 after 8. Muteo South 32 to sell most of its aluminium business to a Canadian group. This is a 74 billion rand deal.
Yeah, big cash there. Mining company South 32 has agreed to sell most of its aluminium business to Canadian producer Alcoa in a deal worth $4.1 billion or 74 billion rand. The sale includes South 32's Hillside aluminium smelter in Richards Bay, KwaZulu-Natal, as well as its alumina and bauxite operations in Australia and Brazil. The Mosel aluminium smelter in Mozambique is not included in the deal. Alcoa will pay $3.1 billion in cash, with the balance settled in shares. South 32 said the sale will simplify its business, reduce costs, and give it more money to invest in growth projects and reward shareholders. The deal still needs approval from South 32 shareholders and regulators before it can be completed, which is expected during the second half of the 2027 financial year.
And of course, we are buying lots and lots of new cars.
Yeah, money might be tight, but South Africans are finding a way to buy more new cars. South Africa's new vehicle market remained strong in June, even as consumers face rising fuel prices, higher inflation, and a very, very tough economy. A total of 54,482 new vehicles were sold during the month, the best June sales performance since 2007. This is 15.3% higher than June 2025.
The markets?
Well, the JSE was lower by 700 points yesterday. Mining shares, the only index performing yesterday, up more than 0.5%. The rand holding its own against the dollar this morning, 16 rand 38, 18 rand 66 against the euro, and 21 rand 78 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is up close to 1% at $4,070 an ounce, while platinum is up more than 2% at $1,617. Brent crude continues to drop this morning, $70 a barrel. More business from Stephen Grotes later this afternoon.
Your time check exactly 8:30. To the news desk we go. Some happier than others to see Bafana Bafana. Sfisa Zulu.
That's true, Barney. Good morning. Bafana Bafana have been welcomed by fans and dignitaries at OR Tambo International Airport this morning. Supporters are happy with the team for making history at the FIFA World Cup by reaching the round of 32 stage. Bafana Bafana returned to the country after losing to Canada at the tournament. Tolagale Mganga has more from the airport. report.
Hundreds of fans braved the cold to welcome back Bafana Bafana here at the OR Tambo International Airport, following a historic campaign that saw them progress past the group stages at the fourth time of asking. After more than an hour wait for the team to walk through the doors, the 25-man squad was treated to loud cheers and a brass band as they returned home after 4 weeks away. Coach Hugo Bruch and Captain Ronan Williams will also speak to the media as they reflect on Bafana Bafana's first World Cup appearance since hosting the tournament in 2010. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News, OR Tambo International Airport, Kempton Park.
The EFF says it will report MK Party MP Vusi Shongwe to Parliament's Joint Ethics Committee for bringing the ad hoc committee into disrepute following his Madlanga Commission appearance. Shongwe gave evidence at the commission this week where he claimed EFF leader Julius Malema was a key factor in why crime intelligence head Feroz Khan was not called in as a witness. The EFF says Shongwe's testimony cast aspersions on the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee by reducing its decision to not call Khan to just one member. EFF Deputy Secretary General Leanne Matthys also raised the matter yesterday during the committee's deliberations on its draft report.
Honorable Malema is just one of the 11. I mean, the rest of us are, well, I'm one of them, including him, who's an alternative. So we don't even get voting rights. So it was very unnecessary to be doing that. And it's probably something the committee, which we have decided, as you heard this morning, we'll discuss it later. But it might have to be a situation where he has to be referred to the Ethics Committee.
Despite not recording the largest turnout during the anti-illegal migration marches, the Western Cape has recorded the highest number of arrests linked to the demonstrations. Acting Police National Commissioner Buleng Dimpane addressed a media briefing yesterday on the security response to this week's activities. Dimpane says the Western Cape accounts the highest number of arrests among the more than 900 people who were arrested across the country.
Some were arrested for public violence, some for harboring illegal immigrants in terms of a Migration Act, some for business robbery at spaza shops, and so on and so forth. The Western Cape recorded a total of 215 arrests for various crimes, including public violence and contravention of Immigration Act.
And hundreds of rescuers are working to save a 43-year-old Venezuelan man who has survived for a week under the ruins of a 7-story building. Hanan Gil, a 43-year-old security guard, is trapped inside his booth under the building where he worked in the Catalia Lamar, a coastal area almost entirely razed to the ground by the twin earthquakes last week. News of the rescue bid came at the end of the day, in which hope of finding more survivors had faded and the death toll neared 2,300 people. A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 9 and 10 degrees, peaking at highs between 15 and 18.
And in the traffic, we've got a major accident scene in Linbro Park. It's along the N3 South. It happened right near Vincent Chabalala Road. It's causing about a 20-minute hold-up coming out of the Baklu interchange while traveling on the N3 North in Alexandra. Delays coming out of Vincent Chabalala Road. That's due to on Lucas.
The top story this hour, Bafana Bafana have been welcomed by happy fans and dignitaries at OR Tambo International Airport.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What are Feroz Khan's lawyers saying about this? Are they arguing that perhaps this would infringe on his right to a defense?
The questioning of him could potentially infringe or reveal secret crime intelligence information and could compromise investigations. And that really has been the line of his defense. What's extraordinary, of course, about this situation is that we have these parallel criminal processes, but I think given those WhatsApp messages and what has emerged already, that horse has profoundly bolted already.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
As a business owner, you're always looking for ways to save money. But have you looked at saving on your business insurance premium? With Outsurance Business Insurance, you could save big, like Bosmansdam High School.
We were with our previous insurance for 10 years plus before switching to Outsurance Business Insurance.
We are saving 3,705 Rand per month.
It was so quick and easy, we should have switched sooner.
Ready to switch and save? Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
online.
Hi, this is Carol Shabalala, Hollywood Bets brand ambassador. It's more fun when it's for fun. Playing responsibly is always a winning strategy. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Score big with the Checkers XXL Savings Championship with over 150 million rand in weekly extra savings. Get Jacob's Kroninger Gold Instant Coffee 200 or 230 grams, any two for 299 rand. Clover Butro Full Cream Modified Butter Spread 500 grams, two for 159 rand. And Twin Saver 2-ply white toilet rolls, 24 per pack for 159.99. Valid until 5 July, only at Checkers.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning. It's Lindeni here in Kalami. I've had a lot of acts of kindness from strangers actually, and but the recent one that I remember, I am a runner, but beside running, I also support runners a lot, especially those that do long distances. You know, just prior to Comrades, I make sure I dedicate my time, and during Comrades, I'll go to Comrades and then support the people. So this one time, we were at Pirates Club. I think you do know it is at Emiratia. And then we had a club run, and then this guy came to me and he says to me, can I go with you? I want to fill up your car because you drive around, you assist us with your petrol and everything. My gosh, then I think it was about 3 years ago, and my car was actually empty, and then he poured 800 rand. He actually filled up my tank. So yeah, that was very amazing. Thank you.
Morning, team. So my random act of kindness happened many years ago when I was still in high school. I was traveling to Mpumalanga to go on camp, and I missed the bus, but I decided to take taxis to the campsite. And just as I was about to arrive, I then fell asleep and I missed my turn in a taxi, and I ended up in a taxi rank in Nelspruit, and I'd run out of money to then get back to the campsite, and the taxi drivers actually donated money for me to get me back to the campsite.
Hey, Bongani, when it comes to random acts of kindness, there was one time I was just doing a door-to-door, doing my master's, had completed my honors for economics, so I was doing a door-to-door in Santin Rivonia, looking for a job, firms, just telling these people that, you know what, I can't apply online, and fast forward, I'm at the US consulate, it's 1 o'clock, they make us wait outside on the paving. A guy comes, an Indian guy that worked for Standard Bank at the time, I think in Risk. He comes there, he waits with us, because it was me and this other guy. We have a brief conversation, asking each other, what are we there for, and so forth. So I tell him my issues. And then fast forward, he takes my details and he says, no, let's see what we can assist you with just to get one foot in the door. I think about 7 p.m. the very same day, I get an email about apply on this 123 urgently. Fast forward into the future, I am in corporate investment banking operations at Standard Bank Siemens. So I just tried to summarize it as quickly as I could.
Good morning, Bongani. Mine was in 2012. I was in Saudi Arabia. I was traveling from one city to the other. And at the airport, I realized that my flight hadn't been booked. I don't know what happened, but the process wasn't complete. I didn't have a ticket. The guy at the ticket counter paid for my ticket. I got his number. I promised to pay him back. I kept phoning him afterwards so I could pay him back. And then eventually said to me, look, I don't want your money. give it to someone else. But I just did that because I thought you needed help. I have never forgotten that guy. As a result, I try to help as many people as I can. If I'm at a toll gate and the person in front of me seems to be struggling, I will pay it for them. If I'm at Pick and Pay and the person in front of me, I can see they've got like a loaf of bread and milk or whatever. If I have the money, I try to pay.
Oh man, I have always relied on the kindness of strangers. Remember? Whoever you are, I have always relied on the kindness of strangers. This is, of course, one of the most famous lines in theatre history. Tennessee Williams. This is, was it Blanche? Was it Blanche? Streetcar Named Desire. And the irony, of course, was that not very many people had shown her kindness throughout her life. We're talking about random acts of kindness, filling up a tank, falling asleep on the way to a camp in Mpumalanga and falling asleep again. The job from Standard Bank, that must be the one that takes the cake, and the ticket to Saudi. Keep those voice notes coming.
EWN Sport.
All right, let's catch up with the world of sports. Anthony Teixeira in for Cindy Paluta. Good morning again, Anthony.
Good morning, Bongani. Well, we'll start this morning with Bafana.
Yes, indeed. They're here.
They have indeed been welcomed with a hero's welcome after touching down back home following the FIFA World Cup exit. They were met by officials and hundreds of fans at OR Tambo International Airport. Lebohile Mofokeng, a notable absentee, as he's, of course, completing his move from Orlando Pirates to Belgian giants Union Saint-Gaulois. Results from the overnight round of 32 matches saw 10-man USA beat Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0. Senegal gave up a 2-goal lead to lose 3-2 to Belgium in added extra time, and England pulled off a 2-1 comeback victory over DR Congo. This evening's encounter at 9 p.m. will have Spain up against Austria. The Austrian forward Abril Mbolo says they've already discussed penalties.
I hope we are not coming there because it's emotion stuff. You have something that we spoke about also as a team. We get ready for this thing because it's a really important point in a tournament, and everybody will take the responsibility, choose a side and shoot and be convinced.
From one World Cup to another, the second of the Women's T20 Cricket World Cup semi-finals today will have our Proteas women taking on an unbeaten England. Here's captain Laura Wolfart.
I think our bowling has been pretty good. Having Kapi and Shubi up early in the power play has been a big boost for us. Been able to strike early in the power play, and then I think in the middle and death overs we've been able to sort of really keep teams quiet. With the bat, we probably haven't been at 100%. All of our batters will admit they'd like to score a bit more runs, but I think it's a pretty exciting thing because when they do come off, hopefully in the next game, it'll be a pretty good game.
First ball at the Oval is at 7:30, while in rugby, Oxenchair believes that the Springboks will have a tough England to tackle Saturday afternoon at Ellis Park. It's the opening match of the Nations Championship for them.
It's a team that's full of energy. They're gonna definitely man up front, try to be physical. They have like a lot of variation to the game as well. So I think when they see opportunities on, they have all the like talent and youngsters to actually like see through and maybe like finish an opportunity when an opportunity arises. So I think they're a pretty sharp team.
And in tennis, we still have two matches to conclude at Wimbledon from last night. Hyora is down 2-1 against Carreno, while Nakashima and Struff are heading into a fifth and deciding set throughout the day on the courts. Throughout the second round, we'll have a French Open champ Zverev, Fritz, De Minaur, Swiatek, Rybakina and Noskova. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
With the story of a caller who once missed their turn to get off a taxi because they fell asleep, I now fully understand why sleeping is not allowed in taxis. Many years ago, from Johannesburg to Pretoria, I was nearly kicked out in Midrand for sleeping in a taxi. Now I understand why. Kabelo, Pretoria.
EWN Traffic.
16-9. Amo, who's sleeping in a taxi at this
Hopefully
hour?
no one, Bongani. Hopefully no one. We've got an accident reported on the N12 West. This is in the Pasonia area. It happened near Klipfield Drive. It's causing delays from Komara Street. About a 20-minute hold up there. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 South. Another accident reported there in the Limbo Park area. It happened right near Vincent Chabalala Road. Delays from the Baku turn off while heading towards Randburg. We've got delays on Malibongwe Drive approaching the N1 exit exit. I'll have more updates at the top of the hour. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN
Good
app.
morning, Bongani, and your team. Hope you guys are good. You know, Ramaphosa has just given me another reason, and this is a nail on the coffin now, for me to not even dream of voting the ANC ever again in my life. You know, how do you re-employ someone that was fired under Zuma's administration? I mean, for you to be fired under Zuma's administration, you must have been bad. And then this gentleman sees the need to bring her back. This is madness. This is madness, and I do not really see how he's going to come back out of that. I don't want to see after it. But yeah, again, I'm not surprised. This is the ANC.
Good morning, Brabongs and 702 listeners. Brabongs, don't forget that department, it's a social development. They are starting with themselves. Like they say, charity begins at home. That's what they are doing, these ministers. Sad reality. Lefa from Pretoria.
On the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
All I want to know, given the recent track record of social development ministers, do you put it on your CV that you're a good liar? Or is it a skill you acquire on the job, Clement?
Well, it depends. If you're applying for a job in the ANC government, it will work in your favor.
Just social development. Just stick to, don't take it too far. Just for social development, if you're going to be minister, is it a KPI that you can lie?
Absolutely.
So do you bring that skill with you, or is it on the job training? Because
I think it's both. Yeah, Lindiwe Zulu was probably, there was not a lot of drama with her. What was there? I mean, Batabile Dlamini, and then there was Lindiwe Zulu.
Yes,
I think
of
she
course.
had less drama than Batabile
Yes.
and Sisisi, and I mean, who knows what's going to happen under Dina Pule's
So look,
leadership.
you can argue that as president of the ANC and the Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa found himself between a rock and a hard place. He has to negotiate succession. He has to make sure that the Women's League is on side, which is a tricky thing to think about if you've got, questions around cash in your sofas, to make sure that the succession conversation is one that
Why
will
does he care
be in
about
your
that, though?
favor. Because you don't want
He's leaving.
successes that will come after you. You want successes that can still
I
protect
don't know.
you.
I think he's exhausted by the organization. I think it's, I honestly don't think that he should actually be stressing himself up about what happens afterwards. He's leaving in 2 years' time. Why do you think you need to appease people by bringing in such tainted?
Yeah, but think of how long, and you've moaned about this, think of how long it took to get rid of Sisisi Tolashe to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, people like Thembi Simelane are still there. We all made a song and dance when she was Minister of Justice, but the fact that she was moved to a different portfolio doesn't take away the questions that seemed so pressing at Justice.
Mm-hmm.
They're still there.
Yeah.
And she's not going anywhere.
She is not. But the
And now
president-
we've got Chikunga. I mean, the things she was saying in Parliament the other day, never mind that, she doesn't remember seeing, people with artisanal skills growing up. Oh, I mean,
Do you think the president cares about his legacy? Do you think he cares about the post-presidency legacy? Because I would think if I was in my last 2 years, I want to try and solidify that legacy.
Yeah. Malema
I've
told
got
us though,
nothing
hey?
to lose. What did he
Malema,
say?
I remember when he said this man wanted to resign.
Yeah.
This man doesn't want to be here.
Namfosa. Now, Gula. On the show today, we're going to talk about the top cops in the SAPS that are being fired. I was so excited, honestly, yesterday to see that Rachel Macheng is also out. Lesicha Sinona.
Do you think she's going to sit down?
Yeah, she must. Can she?
She's going to have a
She's got a BBL.
Oh, I wasn't going to go
Oh,
there.
you were not going there?
No.
Oh, I'm already there. So
cushion seat.
We're going to talk about that on the open line and some of these other cops that are now out. I mean, Shibiri is out. Lesicha Sinona has resigned. This is really good for us. The cleaning up, we are seeing it right in front of our eyes. And then we'll have a conversation about Zuma and that trip to India. The MK party has now come up to distanced itself. They're saying Zanele Manyi must speak on this because only he knew about the trip because it's a private trip, quote unquote.
So
But
they're
does that
blaming Manyi
absolve-
for Zuma's trip.
Say again?
They're blaming Manyi for Zuma's
Yeah,
trip.
they're blaming Manyi that Manyi is the one. But also, does that absolve Zuma? Because at the end of the day, he still is the one who met with the fugitives from justice. So that's a chat we're going to have. And then we wrap up the show at 11 o'clock.
Are you going to call Shivamba?
No.
Or Floyd?
No. At 10 o'clock, we do our hanging out feature. Today, I'm hanging out with someone that I'm sure your path has crossed with, Katie Katapodis. I mean, show me
of
any
course.
great journalist today, and I'll tell
In
you.
broadcasting, certainly.
They come from in
Yeah.
broadcasting. And then at 11 o'clock, we wrap up the show with our Thursday dialogue. Today, we'll have a conversation following the interview I had with Paul Bowie yesterday about when lobbying is done right and when is it undue influence. I've got a panel of guests to discuss this at 11.
All right, come in, Manyatela, between 9 and 12.
What's so exciting for me about this year's event is that we're going back to a place I know so well. I just haven't been there for so long. I'm so excited about going to that precinct around the CBD, the life, the people, the history that is there. All of that is what makes me so excited about this year's Walk the Talk. You should take part in this year's Walk the Talk because it's a coming together of the 702 family of a community. If you like that feeling of being part of something, of watching your children being a part of something bigger than you. That's what the 702 Josie My Josie walk. See as much of the inner city of Joburg as I can. I want to walk it in a way I've never walked it before, and that's important for me. To enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, go to primemediaplus.com. It's very simple. We'll see you there. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. We're going to have a great time.
Sporting Bet's Millionaires Cup is live, and your shot at up to 10 million rand is on the line. A pass, a tackle, a strike. Moments make the game. This one could make you. Take on a series of thrilling missions and climb your way to millionaire status with every stage of the tournament. Bet now at sportingbet.co.za. Could you be our next millionaire? Sporting Bet. Betting amplified. T's and C's apply. Sporting Bet is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No under 18s may gamble. WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710 or contact the SARGF toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008. Winners know when to stop.
It's that time of the year. Sore throats, congestion, wet and dry coughs, pain and fever. For trusted relief for you and your family, ask your pharmacist to recommend a winter survival pack from the Adcock Ingram OTC range. With products like Medikil A, Expigen, Corenza Parac, Adconapamol, Dilinct Junior and more, we have you covered this winter. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
It's your last chance to enter Nedbank Business Ignite on 702. The entries are closing soon. As you know, this year we're celebrating entrepreneurs who turn personal challenges into businesses making a real difference. We've been meeting the finalists, hearing their inspiring stories. You could win 200,000 Rand and the recognition your business deserves. Nedbank, see money differently. An authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
You can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. That's the pressure of the MasterChef South Africa kitchen. And I'm so pleased to tell you that Shuki, I feel like that's what I should call you instead of even really your full name, because you are Shuki to me and so many fans of MasterChef. Shuki Ramonja, of course, the latest chef to exit the MasterChef kitchen, joins us now this morning. A very good morning to you. And listen, well done for coming as far as you have.
Thank you so much, Bongani, and thank you for having me this morning. Yeah, here we are, top 6. What can I say?
Did you have any sense? Because if I remember your journey, you were always the one not just underestimated by other contestants. I think at times you would talk your abilities down, and yet you would always pull a rabbit out of the hat. Did you think you'd go this far?
I'll be honest with you. I did not think I'd get this far. Yes, most my fellow contestants were very good at trying to get me to be more confident in myself.
Yeah.
But my biggest enemy was myself, honestly. Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the worries you always had, or you consistently had rather, was even in those challenges where you had to identify foods.
Oh.
And you would battle with those because
Yeah.
you'd be thinking, oh.
Yeah, no. You know what? Taste challenges and those 10-minute challenges were my worst because somehow I can perform under pressure, but certain pressures are just a little too much for me. I don't know.
Are you generally a panic mechanic?
I am. My fiance says that I am like that even in our own kitchen. So I guess that's how my will turns.
I can kind of relate though. I mean, as somebody who is a home cook, I have tried different things, and there is that moment where it feels like it's falling apart, but somehow you're able to pull the rabbit out of the hat.
Yes.
I remember Justine saying to you that this is as much a cooking game as it is a mind game. Did that help settle some of the nerves?
Definitely. I mean, I had to now Google and research different types of breathing techniques because I had
Really?
to find ways to center myself. Yeah, I struggled a lot in the beginning with centering myself, but as the competition went, you know, you get used to kind of knowing your body becomes fight or flight mode. So somehow you find coping mechanisms, and I think that's how it got me to as far as I did.
Look, I mean, in fairness to you, you often found yourself in the bottom three and yet somehow managed to get back every week. So, I mean, I can understand where some of the panic came, like not again, right? With each challenge. So be kind to yourself a little, don't you think? Give
I'll do
yourself
that.
a break.
Definitely.
Was there a dream you had in terms of what this competition could do for you?
Definitely. I mean, I was so I grew up watching MasterChef as a child, and I saw it as an opportunity for me to inspire other girls like me that are probably watching and saying that I can also do that.
Your daughter?
My daughter, for
How
sure.
does she feel about it?
My daughter is like, she's the next person that's going on MasterChef in the
Oh,
family.
really going to make it
Definitely.
generational. What's your favorite thing to cook for her?
I love cooking pap for her because I believe pap cures any sickness. Like, pap is the cure for anything. And I know that if she's not feeling well under the weather, I will make her pap with gravy and meat. She will
That's
eat
simple.
it. Yeah.
What was the toughest dish to cook? I mean, outside of the waffle.
Mhm.
We won't waffle about the waffle.
I think the toughest dish to make was Chef Moteba's Perry breast, which was a choux pastry challenge, a replication challenge. That was one of the toughest challenges that I think was,
Because
in
of the
competition.
complexity of the dish?
Complexity, time limit, and because most of us, well, specifically me, I've never made choux pastry before. And I got to also lose my best friend, Joshy Bear.
Aww. What was the toughest ingredient to cook with in the kitchen?
Interesting. I think it had to be the macadamia oil for the team challenge that I was team captain for, but we did win at the end of the day. Honestly, ingredients are ingredients, but when you are cooking something for the first time, it's just trial and error at that point.
Do you have a food dream that you want to pursue from this?
Of course. I mean, eventually I'd love to have my own restaurant.
Shookies, I can see it.
And I'm working towards having a cookbook, but most importantly to travel and have a cooking show where I integrate other countries' cuisines with South African cuisine.
At Shookies, right?
Yes.
In Sandton.
Of course. Or Cape Town.
I mean, let's talk about toughening up just as an individual. I mean, obviously this is a journey. This was a growth point for you. Being able to now wear that mask when the situation calls for it. Not that you're faking it, but being able to say, as you say, centering yourself, being in control, and not letting them see you sweat, as it were. Is that a big lesson that you've learned?
Well, I don't know which show you've been watching, but I never had any mask on the show. I was fully vulnerable the entire time. I was crying. My new nickname is now Cryfina, apparently. So I feel like being vulnerable and being fully yourself is one thing. Well, being fully myself was one thing that got me through because I didn't have to focus on trying to be somebody else. I was myself the entire time. All I had to do was focus on what I needed to do in the kitchen.
So vulnerability was in a sense your armor.
It was, I guess.
Part of your armor.
When we put it like that, yeah, I guess, because I was vulnerable. I did not hide anything.
And listen, long may it continue. I think you're one of the most beloved contestants. I think everybody was
thank
rooting
you.
for you because there was that authenticity, because there
Yeah.
was that vulnerability. We felt like we could relate.
Yeah.
I could see some of the challenges thinking and what was always amazing was how the result versus your panic and your feelings and your tears, I'd be like, what was she crying for? Look at that. That looks absolutely amazing. Listen,
Thank you.
congratulations on the journey and what a season you've given us.
Thank you so much, Bongani. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, I'm truly a fan. Shuki Ramonji, of course, the latest MasterChef chef to exit the kitchen.
702.
More than a radio station.
Let's walk the talk.
Oh, look at the time. We've stolen a minute from Clement before he slaps me. I'll see you bright and early for the Friday edition of 702 Breakfast.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The death toll has risen to 16 following a bus crash in the Western Cape. 73 passengers were on board when it overturned on the N1 near Toes River in the early hours of this morning. Here's the Western Cape Mobility Department's Maxine Bezuidenhout.
We can confirm an incident on the N1 near Toes River
In the early hours of this morning, here's the Western Cape Mobility Department's Maxine Bezuidenhout.
We can confirm an incident on the N1 near Toes River at approximately 20 to 1 this morning.